guys, I just want to say that I was on YouTube a lot recently. I get on there all the time, and I listen to Michael Bolton. I listen to a lot of different bands, but I was scrolling down, and I typed in Dutch. I just was looking for the movie Dutch, and basically what happened was I saw Dutch Radio Network, which you can find on YouTube.
Yeah.
I started watching it. I enjoyed what I saw, what I heard, and I said, hey, I have to follow these guys, and now I am on the show. I kid you not. Your dreams can come true, and you can be on Dutch Radio Network as a guest. You're not going to be a main star like us, but you can be a guest. That's one of the places you can go to watch Dutch Radio Network is on YouTube. I'm going to let this guy to the left of me tell you where else you can find Dutch Radio Network. Thank you.
I'll be honest, the first time I realized Going Dutch Radio Network was the best podcast, not only in St. Louis of motherfucking Missouri, but in the whole United States and the whole world. It just blew my mind. I mean, it just absolutely blew my mind. They have the best Facebook page ever. I mean, oh my God, I could just go on and on. You know, if you guys ever go on their website, goingdutchradionetwork.com, it is like the best fucking website ever. And I was once on the show, and oh my God, like, I almost passed out. Like, the camera's on me, and I was just feeling so good but nervous, and I was a little hard. But
it's okay. That's the way I felt the first time I was on the show.
Yeah.
Okay? But now I'm kind of a regular on the show, and I really enjoy it a lot.
You guys are a bunch of Nancy fucking Pantsy boys. Let me tell you something. I listen to Going Dutch Radio because I like their kind of talk. They talk straight and they talk forward, and that's why I listen to fucking Going Dutch goddamn radio.
All right, guys, so look up Going Dutch Radio Network, like us on Facebook, and subscribe.
YouTube and Twitch.com.
Whatever they just said.
Feeling is what I'm feeling.
right, guys. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. That's right, guys. Going Dutch Radio Network. I am CJ, your host, and the crew with me today, to the right of me, if you're looking at the camera, it is Blue. How's it going, Blue?
Not bad. Feeling good.
All right.
Feeling pumped up for this.
Wow, good. All right, and to
Fucking
the...
pumped. No, seriously, I'm really pumped.
Like, how pumped are you?
Like, I am just keep going. Just talk to the other guy. I can't even explain how pumped up I am.
Well, I have a name, Blue.
All right, on that note, the man to the left of me, his name is Candy. How's it going, Candy?
It's going pretty good.
So pumped.
I'm just as pumped as he is. Well, maybe not as pumped.
I am so fucking pumped.
But a little pumped.
God, I feel like there's a lot of pumping going on.
I actually have a few questions. I was actually wondering how the show came about, Dutch Radio. You never actually shared it with our viewers. Maybe you have, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Yes. So me, CJ, that's right. I am CJ, the host. I decided during conception that I wanted to start doing a online podcast where we could do it live at least, once a week and be able to kind of have archive podcasts to watch because I thought it'd be fun to talk about politics, conspiracies, controversies, and so forth. And that's really how it came about, if you want me to be honest. It's that simple. And within about 3 weeks, I think, we got all of the equipment. We got everything. Microphones, mixers, computer software, everything, people. You have no idea how much this shit costs.
Including the table.
Oh, no, we're getting a new table.
We're getting a new table now?
We are getting a new table, just like we got a new projector.
We're moving up in the world here.
What kind of table are we going to get? I like this table.
We're going to get a rectangular table that looks just like this one, but it's smaller.
Can I put my gum under it? Because that's what I like to do with my gum.
I would advise against that. It has sentimental value to me.
Okay. I won't
it is my table, but it's our table now for the show.
Can I put my penis on it occasionally?
Speaking of labels and penises, I don't know how that was a good segue. I want to talk about how we got our names on the show, our nicknames on the show. So, Blue, would you like to talk about how you got your nickname? And can you explain it?
It's a very interesting story. I showed up on my first day here, and I was wearing a lot of blue. And then one of the two guys who used to be on the show was like, hey, that guy's wearing a lot of blue, so they call me Blue.
That is actually a pretty good name.
I mean, it is, and you don't understand, folks. Blue...
It's better than my name.
To the right of me, always on the camera. I mean, my God, he has never not worn blue, ever. I don't know if it's a fashion statement or if he's just really into it. But
I'm not a Democrat, though.
Anyways, to the camera's left, as always, is Candy. And Candy, how did you get your name? How'd your name come about?
Do you even know?
I know my name. Okay, it wasn't my choice, but it was kind of interesting the first day at work here because this is kind of work.
Wow,
this is becoming a job, man.
I said, what should my nickname be? You guys were naming out names, and then someone said Candy. I don't know if it was you, CJ, or Blue, but...
I think it was me.
Was it you?
I was thinking something sweet, and I was looking at him like,
Yeah, he's like Candy. So I said, you know what? That's fine. It doesn't really matter what my nickname is, but Candy has kind of stuck with me.
Right. I mean, I remember Blue first said Blowjob Betty. I'm like, let's go a little,
It has to be appropriate.
Exactly.
And we can sell candy while we're talking about me.
Right. Exactly.
You should sell candy.
All right, guys, don't forget to watch Going Dutch Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We are on commercial break. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. Please like and subscribe to us on Facebook and look us up on our own website. That's right, guys. We have a www.goingdutchradionetwork.com. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
take a peek in my head, past the promise, past regret, to the place where I hide. You could come inside in your face and your ears, all my hopes and my fears. I'm a freak and a fake. You could take me or leave me. This is true, as true as it needs to be. I found something that works for me well. I'm surrounded by assassins I can't see without my glasses. I'm afraid they're whispering things about me that are mean from now on. Things might get weird, don't settle in. Or shed a tear,
All right, guys. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. And we're back, people. We are back.
Hello.
Yes. Podcast number 20. Podcast number 20.
Check. 1, 2, 1.
Is everybody's mics working?
I think so. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Check,
Everything's sounding good? Okay, guys, this is Going Dutch Radio Network. We are live right now. Going Dutch Radio Network, podcast number 20. We are live on YouTube. Yes, we are actually live on YouTube. I know what happened last Saturday. There was some technical difficulties on YouTube side and our side as well.
Yeah, because of the big government trying to keep us off there because of our alternative opinions.
I concur.
Yeah.
I concur.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is Going Dutch Radio Network. If you noticed, we do have a little bit of a different camera setup, just like last week. That was our first time trying it. It's going to pan every 8 seconds to me and then them. I am your host, CJ, and, of course, to the left of me or the camera's right is Blue. How's it going, Blue?
It's going very well. I'm having a very good night tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Sounds pretty good.
Yep.
And, of course, guys, we do have a very special guest. He really is very special. His name is Moe. His last name is Zura. Moe Zura, how's it going tonight?
It's going well, very well.
Yeah?
Always.
Are you excited?
I'm always excited. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Where the fuck is Candy at?
Well, we need to talk
Candy.
about it. Usually, guys, there's always someone right next to me to the camera's left. But he is
Barfing?
He is out of commission tonight. We'll talk about it a little bit. Candy, he's been hitting the sauce a little bit, just to say the least.
Yeah, he's had quite a day today. I don't know how much he had to drink, but let's just say that he pretty much went over his limit, and I have no idea what he's doing right now, but he left. He skedaddled.
Yeah,
he got picked up.
Guys, Candy's so drunk that he literally fled the Going Dutch Radio Network studios about 2 minutes before we just went live, which is just now. So
it didn't tell us. Like he just like jumped out a window.
Yeah,
had a fucking car waiting for him.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this, I am out. So
he had the parachute and everything.
It was a little awkward.
It's pretty awesome.
He was so drunk is when usually when he's drunk and buzzed, he's funny, he's louder, than normal.
Yeah. Totally.
He hit such past the point of being drunk that
he was green.
He was green and quiet.
Yeah.
And whenever the sky's green and whenever Candy's green, it's not going to be a good situation.
No. So it's probably for the best that, hey, Candy, if you're listening, I hope you get better, buddy. Yeah. Drink a lot of water and eat a lot of fatty foods.
Yes.
Apparently that's good for you.
Pizza.
And take a bunch of shits.
So, guys, how's it feel right now, Moe Zura, to be on your second appearance here at Going Dutch Radio Network so far?
Feeling great. Feeling great.
You like it so far?
I do. I enjoy this.
How did you like the last show? Be honest.
It was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You liked it?
Yeah. Very fun.
I'm happy.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you enjoy Blue having Moe on? You like his thoughts?
Yeah. Moe's great. I love Moe. Thank you, Moe.
All right.
Thanks for coming back. I mean, honestly.
Sure.
Moe, the
great.
people wanted Moe, so we got some Moe.
Some Moe. You want some Moe? Well, here's some Moe.
You
All
gotta
right,
give
guys.
the people what they want.
Exactly. So, are we ready to start the show?
Sure.
Ready for a battle royale.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, guys. So we do have some really good topics tonight. I'm gonna bring them up real quick. I'm gonna, list them real quick, and we're gonna get started. So we have some topics. First one: white supremacist websites. White supremacist websites, should they be banned? Number 2: should businesses be able to refuse service? Right.
because of race, or just because maybe they just don't feel like selling it to some certain person, their product. Should business be able to refuse service? Number 3 is the government. Companies. Amazon, are they listening to us right now? Like literally us live? Or are they listening to you whenever you're sleeping? Are they listening to you whenever you're taking a crap and you're watching a YouTube video on your phone? Or, are they listening to you? And are they tracking you? That's one thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. And then, of course, with our special guest, Moe Zura, we do want to talk about Moe's political beliefs. What is he? Democrat, Republican, anarchist? You guys got to find out.
You're a daunting enigma, Mo, and we want to crack that code.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to talk about it. Last couple topics. Will Trump win his second term?
Absolutely.
And then, last but not least, Flat Earth. That's right, people. We have one of the best guests on tonight, Mo.
Wait a sec. Whoa, wait.
Whoa.
I feel like you're skipping something.
How awkward do you want this to be?
I don't know. So, I mean, are you going to read the whole list or what?
Okay, so our second to last topic was, once again, Flat Earth, and we do have somebody who's really a specialist on the theory or the truth about Flat Earth, and it's Mo. So we definitely want to dive into that. I want to, there's many things I totally agree with them, to the point where I do still have some doubt that maybe the Earth is not a round spinning globe. So we're going to get into that. And then last but not least, this is Blue's topic that he wanted to talk about for some crazy reason. And we are not going to talk about it, but I'm going to say it because I have to, is the last topic is gay sex and crystal meth equals awesome.
All you listeners out there, if you want to hear us talk about that topic, please call in, or you can message us, or you can leave a comment. If you want us to talk about that topic, please let us know. I'm sure there's somebody out there who would like to hear us,
talk about
tackle that
gay sex and crystal meth topic.
Yeah.
All right. So if you do want to comment or call in about any of our topics, including gay sex and crystal meth, please call us and comment. Call us 636-926-6945.
69.
Are you ready?
No.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Which topic do you want to talk about first? And we're not talking about the last one. We don't have to go in order because we just kind of,
We're going to give it to Mo. Mo, what do you think, buddy?
Mo, what's the first topic? Not Flat Earth, though. We got to save that one for a little bit later.
I was actually thinking order. That seems
you like
to
the
be
order?
The best, yeah.
The order sounds good.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It just fell into place. It was perfect. All right, guys. So white supremacist websites, should it be banned? Blue, you want to talk about it a little bit. What is your take on white supremacist websites, or any? Not only that, but even other websites that might be racist or might be biased towards a certain group? Should they be banned? Should the government or our body of people in the United States be able to govern and be able to limit what these racist people or not racist people can show on the internet?
Well, they already have. I think that the Daily Stormer, that's one of the top white supremacist websites.
Yeah.
I think that's been taken off the web. I don't think people have access to it anymore. The Daily Stormer. It's a
really
a neo-Nazi white nationalist kind of website, and in my opinion, I think that's a very bad idea because all it's going to do is piss them off more. It's going to make them, and they're going to be right about it. The big government is trying to keep us silent. The big government's trying to ban us from communicating with each other, exchanging our ideas. They're going to talk about the First Amendment, and they're going to be completely in the right about it because people should have the right to have a website on the internet which expresses their points of view. And, it's gotten to the point where you can't do that anymore, where all these... go ahead.
No. So you think websites, no matter what group it is, whether it's the KKK, whether it is... It could be people that are, Satanists, I guess the term to say. Anybody should be able to post anything because it's just freedom of speech. And,
yes.
And, you're not making me look up that website. It's just available.
No.
That's your kind of thing behind it, I guess.
And,
right?
And it isn't like, the Daily Stormer is going to be right in front of your face whenever you start typing on Google. I mean, you got to really look for it because I've looked at the website, not because I'm a white supremacist or anything. I'm just saying that it's not like it's in your face. It's not like it's on a billboard or something. This is something that you really have to look for. And if you want to look for it, and if you want to read their literature, and if you want to see their opinions, you should be able to.
I like it.
And it's not it's very dangerous to piss off those types of people. The alt-right, the white nationalists, they're they're already pissed off enough as it is. So
let me ask you
it's not
this.
a very good idea to.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So these white supremacists, right? And Mo, I want your input on this too.
Sure.
These white supremacists, or let's just say I am a, let's just say, and I'm not, by the way, people, but let's just say I'm a child molester, and I really like children. I'm really into them sexually, right?
Yeah.
And I'm fucked up. I'm a criminal. Maybe I've been convicted already, but maybe I'm, I'm out. I'm living at my house by myself. I cannot be within a school within 500 feet or what is it, 2 miles, whatever it is.
Something like that.
All right, so I'm a child molester, and I want to make a website not showing children, or you know what? Maybe I can show children with just with their faces blurred out, and I don't have to show anything sexual. But can I just? Do you think I'm allowed to just type whatever I want? Like, man, I really want to do this to this kid. What do you guys think? What would you like to do to him? And then there's like a forum and a website about it. Is that legal? Or do you think it should be legal?
I know there's sites like 4chan and there's 8chan where you can post pretty much whatever you want. And a lot of times they post child pornography on there.
Really?
Yes.
And that's not legal though. Child pornography is not legal.
Well, if they find out that there is child pornography on there, they have to take it off. But it's one of these, and it's so weird because they attack the Daily Stormer, which is clearly politically motivated because now they think Trump's a white nationalist and all this. So they're going to go after a website like that.
Right.
Whereas on 4chan, you can go there. And I've been on that site, and I've been on 8chan just out of, for research reasons, not because I want to see, children or anything. But you can post literally anything you want on there. You can post racist stuff, anti-Semitic things, and all that. And if people find that on this website that there are these types of things, you have to remove it, but there's no repercussions for it. It isn't like anybody's going to go to jail for it.
So anonymously, you can just post whatever you want.
You can post a picture of a child, a naked child, or in some sort of sexual, position or whatever.
So what's your take? Let's not go so as far as right now. People are talking about websites and white supremacists or child molesters, whatever. Are freedom of speech. Blue thinks that anybody should be able to post anything they want on the internet, and that it shouldn't be.
No.
Banned,
Actually, no. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that I don't understand why the Daily Stormer is being attacked when you can go on 4chan.
Are they saying anything?
And you can post like naked children on there.
Are they saying anything malicious on this white supremacist website?
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, anything like almost illegal. Like we want to kill.
Well, I mean, it should be
Hillary.
illegal.
No. We want to, I'm saying something crazy like that.
I think primarily they're talking about like Timothy McVeigh.
Yes.
Who blew up the Oklahoma City bombing guy.
Right.
He actually adhered to this belief that Jewish people were the seed of the serpent in the Bible, which I'm sure he can help us with that one. There's this idea that there's people who descended from Adam and Eve, and then there's Eve who they believe copulated with the serpent, and that line of people are basically have DNA of the devil.
Oh. That's not true.
And
but,
I'm
yeah.
no. I know you don't agree with that, but
I actually haven't even heard that. So.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what Timothy McVeigh believed, and that's what a lot of the white nationalists believe, that Jewish people in particular are descendants of, I guess, the serpent.
Okay. The
serpent and Eve having sex, and they had this offspring, and they're all the same bloodline. You might find that on the white nationalist site, and is it good content? Is it friendly content? No, it's not. But at the same time, if you're going to attack them, you should also worry about all the child pornography on 4chan and 8chan and all these terrible things that are on there.
So Mo,
yes.
So right now we're talking about websites.
Yeah.
What can be banned, what cannot be. What do you think about? What's your take on websites, and should freedom of speech be 100% applied to you post whatever you want? It should be all legal. You have the right to freedom and post whatever you want.
Well, freedom goes so far as speech, to where you're inciting violence against others or that kind of a thing. Shouting fire in a crowded theater is always the go-to, right?
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, once you're getting into, there's a group called NAMBLA, National North American Man Boy Love Association or something.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and they actually put out literature on how to
Sickos.
Scope out teen boys,
Sickos.
And it's from what I understand, not very regulated at all. Like,
and right now it's legal. You can look that up.
Yeah, they're pretty widely known.
Jeez.
The point I'm making, the Daily Stormer is off. You can't have access to it. But when it comes to scoping out children and stalking children and then having sex with them is perfectly all right.
Well, I don't
Something
think
is a little bit wrong here.
Here's the thing. So I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but at the same time, it's not legal. Here, the problem is that this day and age, you can anonymously post things, you can anonymously do things now and not get caught, or it's extremely hard. So people will do it, and they can't stop that. There's no algorithm to be able to stop that.
Well, that's
otherwise,
fine,
I think the government would.
But why are the white supremacists the ones who are being targeted? They haven't.
Oh,
There were people who were targeting children daily. These white nationalist people, what? They march? They have the Confederate flag?
So these people,
what the hell are they doing?
These people that are running and posting and using this website as a platform to show their beliefs, they are not doing anything illegal. Like, technically on paper, they really aren't doing anything illegal.
Are you talking about the Chan 4 child pornography?
No. White supremacists.
The white supremacists?
Yes.
As far as I know, they're not. Maybe this might lead somebody to do something illegal. They might, pull a Timothy McVeigh and get a bunch of, bombs and shit and blow up a building. But,
right.
I mean, how do you stop something like that? How do you stop ideas?
Yeah, I would say it's important for at least ideas to be expressed.
Okay.
Because then the danger is, for one, you're censoring people, but then also it's important to know what, where things are coming from, where ideas are coming from. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you want to get it really from the source, other than maybe using, looking at Facebook and getting these random ads, like Going Dutch Radio Network, and now posting a funny video, or it could be something targeted or directed, which is, a perfect segue that we could, end up talking about. People are listening to us, and some of these ads that we show on Facebook, they're so directed. Like we just talked about, I don't paintball, but I just talk about paintballing, and what do you know? I haven't talked in 10 years. I just brought it up, and I go on the internet, go on Google, and somehow there's some ads about paintballing.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna dive into that a little later, people, because I think that's extremely interesting to say the least. Once again, guys, thank you, whoever is listening right now. We are live, Going Dutch Radio Network. Watch us live every single Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central. Right now, I'm CJ, your host. That is Blue, and to the right of him is Mo, our special guest. So, I feel like this is going to be a good show. I can just tell so far. I can really feel it. I'm not just saying that either.
No, but to me, and I guess I'm repeating myself, but I just don't understand this logic that's going on here, where they're just targeting, people with far right beliefs, and they're racist. Sure, they're racist, they're anti-Semitic, but you're allowing all these other sickos to have free reign, post whatever they want, get their ideas out, teach you how to stalk a child. That's fine. What the hell's going on here?
Well, here's the thing.
And who the hell is in charge of this? Probably child molesters, to be honest with you. I know that John Podesta guy.
Well, don't even get.
If you look at those fucking emails,
don't even start
that guy's
Pizzagate.
weird.
Don't even start
that guy's
Pizzagate.
fucking weird. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of
child molesters in the high reaches of government, if you ask me.
Do you think the population
and probably Facebook too? That's Zuckerberg. I wouldn't trust him with my child.
Do you think that the percentage of the people that are in government, politicians, anybody in the cabinet,
Dennis Hasper
real quick,
was the Speaker of the House, and he was touching children when he was a coach.
So you honestly think
Speaker
that
of the House,
the percentage of maybe child molesters or some really fucked up people that are in government is a lot higher than the percentage of just you and I.
It's probably up there with priests, people with a high position in a bureaucracy,
power.
They do this. They basically do whatever they have to do. They function exactly how they're supposed to function within that machine.
Yeah. And
then whenever they go home at night, that's when the weird shit comes out. Those are the kind of people who end up touching children.
Do you think maybe that is because they live such this crazy fake ass life.
It's a double
these
life.
politicians,
It's a double life, yeah.
And that's why they're so crazy outside of it. You know,
Yes.
like they have to be so fake and just so not like themselves that it
Yeah.
ends up making them crazy and
Well,
doing
it's-
just
and-
nasty
and-
things.
And it's kind of the chicken or the egg theory. Like, were they like that, and that's what leads them into that kind of career, or did that career lead them to want to touch children? You don't really know.
Yeah.
But people in high positions, and I'm not saying that necessarily if you're wealthy and you're powerful that you're gonna be into children. I mean, there's a lot of poor people, I'm assuming, who are into children, but it seems like that there's quite a few cases, alarmingly, who people in the top of government, definitely in the church, we know that. I mean,
Mo, what's your take on that? I mean, as far as the government, do you think that there is more than too many people that are just not good people? Not just not good people. I guess most people think politicians aren't good people, but do you think there's a lot of people in government that are possible child molesters or just very horrible, almost illegal? They're doing something so fucked up that they shouldn't even be in that government setting or in that position because they're so insane. What do you think?
I think a lot of it has to do with the personality types. When you're dealing with positions of power,
Yeah.
Very rarely are you going to get someone who is thinking of wielding that power responsibly. You're always going to. It usually attracts there's all these personality types. I'm not sure what they call them. They're like type A's or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that power is attractive to a certain type of individual who's say greedy or power hungry,
Right.
as a personality type. And so they like to hold sway over people, and the most innocent people, of course, are children. So I think you run into that a lot in those halls of power. You have that what's the guy, the Hollywood guy that was the Weinstein or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
Who was
Harvey?
that guy?
Yeah,
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then so this was apparently going on for years, and then you can go through the archives of photos, and he's with Oprah Winfrey, and
he's in the feminist march.
Yeah,
He was in a women's right march.
Yeah, he's with all these people that are supposedly, throwing him out now, but
Yeah.
they were buddies with him back in the day, and
They knew about it too.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
They knew about it.
you would tend to believe that they knew what he was doing.
That's what the liberals do.
Tell me that's not fucking scary.
So
It is scary.
I mean,
they're full of shit.
guys, what do you think? Please comment. We're talking about politicians. We're talking about freedom of speech, and we're also talking about politicians in government. People in government that are really nasty, horrible people. And what? It's funny that you mentioned
They're all child molesters.
not just the child molesters, but just you can tell, like, the ones that are so fake. You can just tell there's something truly evil.
Yeah.
And I really mean that. Like, there's just some people, some politicians out there, some people in high government that you just look at and be like, I really don't trust you. I wholeheartedly don't trust you. Like, if you had to pick your
Hillary
top,
Clinton. Hillary Clinton was definitely one of them.
Perfect. How about you, Mo? Do you have anybody other anyone really specific that you're like, without a doubt, I cannot trust anything that person says? In government.
I don't get too political nowadays, but yeah, there are some people. Like I say, it's a personality type. There are some that are, wielding.
Give us a name, Mo. Give us a name.
Yeah, give us
want
a
a
good
name.
instance. So what do you think?
We want a name.
Well, I mean, I would say, obviously Hillary Clinton would be. She's
My man. I love it.
She's sort of the poster child for
corruption, and
yeah.
just lies and deceit and
total lies.
Yeah.
Just phoniness.
Lizard lady.
Just, yeah.
complete liar.
Her husband gets a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky, and she's downing all the women who said that Bill sexually assaulted them.
I did not
And
have
then
sexual
she
relations with that
becomes
woman.
the head of this this feminist movement during the presidential election. What a joke!
Yeah.
What a joke! The whole Me Too movement. Thankfully that happened, I guess, after the election. But had that started whenever she was running, I mean, she would have had a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah.
The fact that she was downing all these women who were accusing Bill of sexual assault.
Yeah, I mean, and she's a special case too. I mean, she's
definitely a
her
special
stuff.
case.
Her lies are just legendary. She was named after Sir Edmund Hillary to climb Mount Everest.
What do you think is Hillary's biggest lie? Like, not the biggest news. What do you think is, like, oh my God, that's such a lie. It's so obvious. How does anybody trust her? How does anyone even believe that? Does Hillary have anything
Here's a
like
better
that?
question.
Yeah.
Name a time where she's been honest about something. You know, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, but Trump
True.
is on the clock,
Yeah.
like 24/7.
Yeah.
No matter what he says, the newspapers cover it. They slam him. But whenever she was running, she was lying left and right too, and they never said anything about it. New York Times, Washington Post. I lost so much respect for those papers because whenever you read the news, you want objectivity,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't there. It wasn't there. They so clearly wanted her to win, and it made me fucking sick.
See, there's one thing, and I know we were kind of bouncing off some topics. You know, we started with websites, and should some of them be banned, and freedom of speech, and now we jumped into, child molesters. Now we're talking about crooked Hillary.
Who probably is a child molester, by the
Who
way.
probably is a child molester. I do not have sexual relations with that woman.
Hillary, could you get me that little kid over there?
Hey,
Papa needs a little help.
Hey, Hillary. Will you suck my curved shape popsicle?
Yeah, supposedly he had a curved penis.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
It's as curved as a banana.
But I mean, and I've gotten in arguments with liberals on Facebook.
About what? His curved penis?
No, about these are the same people who were so pro Me Too.
Yeah.
They're feminist, and they voted for Hillary. And I bring up time again. I'm like, the man standing on stage with her
Yeah.
was sexually assaulted women. He used his power. He wielded his power to get sex out of them. And they're like, well, that has nothing to do with Hillary. She's the one who's running, not him. I'm like, she's married to him. He's on stage. He's speaking for her. What if Trump did that? Would you would jump on that like a fly on shit. But whenever she does it, you always have an exception.
Well,
makes me sick.
Do you think it's just because she's a woman and she's one
Yes,
of the few
yeah.
higher,
She could definitely. She had wiggle room because she was a woman. She could get out of that. Well,
I think a lot of it's political. I think most of it is political ideology. It's ideological. Because the elites that are in control of the media and all that kind of stuff, they have a political agenda, and if a politician is on their side, they'll look the other way when they do stuff.
Well, the
Whereas
voters look the other way too.
Well, yeah.
The
I mean,
people
she has
who,
a ton
who
of followers,
claim,
a ton
But
of
the problem
loyalists.
is that
Yeah.
the average citizen, the news that they're getting is
skewed.
slanted.
yeah,
very
and
much
I'm
slanted.
I was actually really happy to see the whole fake news concept come up, just because hopefully it makes people want to dig deeper.
It actually kind of scares me a little
but
bit.
they
'cause-
can't dig deeper because
Hold
they're
on.
getting rid of websites.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is one thing I'd like to bring up. So think about it. You are correct, Mo. I totally agree with you that right now, the fake news is starting to come out, or they're starting to be exploited, stating like, hey, there is fake news out here, like on this platform, or don't trust everything you see. Just because it's on Facebook doesn't mean it's fucking real, right? Or doesn't mean it's truth. With that being said, and this is always a catalyst, and this has always been the GOAT, so to speak, that I like to bring up. Typically, when somebody tries to exploit something, usually there's even a bigger lie, or that there's something even bigger that somebody's hiding.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They'll
And-
throw something out there, and it's it's like the magician.
Yeah.
There's a
red
beautiful
herring.
girl. Watch the beautiful girl, and then he's doing his behind the scenes stuff. That's
Yeah.
what we get on television a lot. Is they'll throw something out there that's a distraction, and then there's something else going on.
You know what I believe? And honestly, I really believe that this is what I'm trying to get to, is that, Trump does so many ridiculous things, whether it's wrong or right. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of things where like, oh my God, there's no possible way our president of the United States did that. Or there's no way that this could be going on. Maybe some collusion, or maybe, him talking privately with the president, which we all know that actually happened. That is truth. But I think, and I feel like, the right, or somebody, some organization, some group is actually trying to throw other fake news that's so ridiculous that you can't decipher what is true and what's fake. So why believe any of it?
Well,
Here's the thing. Hold on, real quick. So it's better. Okay, all the midterm elections, right? Just happened, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know the results of almost any. Who
Well,
won, who
it
lost,
was
but-
the primary, not the actual
Sorry.
midterm.
Sorry,
Not
the
actual
primary.
midterm.
Exactly. That's how little I know about it. But with that being said, all those ads that you saw on TV or on Facebook, most of them, 95% of them, are never like, my name is CJ from Going Dutch Radio Network, and I am American, and I love this country, and America, but vote for me. Most of it isn't that. It's usually this person's horrible.
Smearing
You're this person's a piece of shit. You better not vote for them. Or this person's a horrible person. And but I'm not. It's
Claire McCaskill got $6,000 from the NRA in 1992.
With that being said, there's just so much. There's collusion. Everybody's guilty. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying
guilty
the whole time. But nobody gets it. The fact that...
But here's the thing. When you want to win, I guess that's what you have to do, obviously, because
collusion,
the good guys and the people that are telling the truth are obviously not in power or not in government.
The whole the whole collusion argument makes me laugh so much. They're like, well, Trump, he was talking to the Russians, and then the Russians, had these Facebook ads, and that's how he won. What the fuck do you think a typical political ad is? You give money to somebody, and then they come up with this ad, whether it's a commercial or whether it's in the paper or whether it's on Facebook or on the internet.
Yeah.
And then that's supposed to, the people see it, and then that's supposed to influence how they feel about that individual. Why is this such a big deal? And this is front and center of our news.
Yeah.
Like I said, New York Times, Washington Post, the great papers that we have, that's all they talk about every single day. This fucking, never mind, we're at we invaded 10 countries.
Yeah.
We have 10 wars going on right now that we're paying for out of our own pockets. We have huge debt, and nobody fucking talks about that. They talk about the goddamn Russian scandal every single day. It's a joke.
Because unfortunately, it is what's trending the most. It's what people tend to grasp and want to see.
Well, that's not journalism, in my opinion.
No,
you need to cover the stuff that actually matters.
It's definitely not, and I agree. But some of it, people want to listen to, and it's Trump this, Trump that, Trump that.
Yeah,
Trump everything.
That's all they talk about. Trump lied on his tweet today about what he had for breakfast. Well, who gives a fuck?
Mo, do you believe that any publicity is good publicity? Meaning even if it's bad publicity, as long as they're talking about me, then it's better than nothing, or it's better than.
Well, some people think that. I don't think that's true.
You don't agree with that?
No.
I think in Trump's case it is true. Because,
I think it is. Yeah.
Well, because it helps perpetuate this idea.
It helps stir the
that,
pot.
Well, and the thing is, the media and the establishment, quote unquote, are actually against him. They don't like him. They want him out of office.
Yeah, they very much so are against him. And I think it's playing
since
against
Nixon.
them
I haven't seen
because
anything like this.
they're so anti, like you're saying, they criticize what he eats for breakfast, that there's so much anti that I think a lot of people are just tuning out and not paying attention.
Yeah, because you think there's so much negativity, it's almost reversing. It's like you're talking so much crap about this person, whether you believe some of it's true or not. You can't believe all of it, and then all of a sudden you kind of feel like, okay, they're definitely targeting this person. I really don't like Trump that much, honestly. I mean that's really what I personally believe. I don't like him that much. I don't think he's a good person. I don't think he should be our president. But the way they talk about him as the most powerful person in the world right now, I mean,
sure as hell doesn't look like it.
Versus other secret organizations, and that me and
the CIA,
Mo would love to talk about.
We don't want to worry about the CIA, by the way.
Well, no, the CIA is so private. It's not even funny. But with that being said, I almost feel bad for him, and I would say I almost feel bad for Trump, but once again, I personally believe any publicity is good publicity, and Trump is taking that and fucking running with it because he's killing it right now. And what do you think? He's part of technically the Republican Party, right? Technically. With that being said, how many people in government that are in the Republican Party actually like that he's in there?
None of them.
You don't think any of them?
Well, the thing is, and by the way, everybody knows I voted for him. What I see, once he got in, I thought, and he's done a lot of things that he promised on the campaign trail, but this huge tax cut, the middle class tax cut, is going to expire in 3 years. But the tax cut for the upper income people, the supposed quote unquote 1%, that's not going to expire. So that's going to be like a permanent tax cut unless they're able to reverse it in the future.
Okay,
now, stuff like that, the Republicans love. Any Republican, what's the name of the Speaker of the House? Paul Ryan.
Yeah.
Guys like that who are, kind of moderate, Ayn Rand Republicans, they love that shit. That gives them a huge hard-on. So they like that aspect of it, but with the tariffs, when he's trying to target China and Mexico with tariffs, they don't like that. And even the people in his cabinet don't like that. There was actually an article in the New York Times where
that is a very leftist.
John Bolton, who is in his cabinet, actually was undermining what Trump told him to do in negotiations on NAFTA.
Really?
Yeah, because Trump.
Do you really think? Okay, Mo. Do you really think? Did you vote in the last election?
No, I don't. I haven't voted in a long time.
Okay. With that being said, I mean, who would you trust more if you had to pick one? Would you trust Trump more, and if he is president, or would you rather have Hillary? If you were forced to put a gun to your head, which one would you have had to pick, and why?
Well, Trump, because of his ideology, and he doesn't have much of an ideology, but.
With that being said,
yeah.
So you pick Trump. So do you think Trump, whenever he decided, I want to be the president of the United States, when he thought that in his mind, this is prior him trying to be president and him going up against, into the, the elections and whatnot and, bashing people and, showing how big his hands are. With that being said, do you think that he did it for actually good reasons? Do you think he was trying to be the president?
Yeah,
why? Why do you think Trump tried to be president? That's what I really want to fucking know because it's very interesting.
If you look at his interviews in the 80s, like he was on Oprah, I
saw that video. Yes,
he's talking about the tariffs all the way back then.
Yeah,
he's saying we're getting suckered. This country's getting screwed over because we're basically buying more from these other countries and selling less. They're taxing the hell out of anything that we export.
Right.
He was saying this like 30 years ago, and that's like one of the cornerstones of his policy. That's why I voted for him.
And do you think that Trump is the same now as he was before, or do you think it's just? Do you think he was trying to be president as a power trip? He loves power so much. You know what I mean?
He changed because anybody who runs for president, they have their ideals, and then they go in and they say, well, my ideals aren't going to fit into this bubble,
right?
Because it's a completely different situation than they thought it was going to be. No matter who you are, even Obama, like. I voted for Obama in 2008, and I remember George W. Bush, he had in his cabinet, he had Hank Paulson, who was one of the top guys at Goldman Sachs. This is during the recession.
Right.
All right, and I hated the fact that we were going to give them trillions of dollars to bail out all these Wall Street guys who were doing bad shit. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. They were selling junk stocks, and they're making billions.
Oh, it's crazy. I totally agree.
They were making billions. Yeah. So I see Obama come in, and I'm like, hallelujah, we're going to get some change here.
Right.
And he has fucking Hank Paulson in his cabinet, the same guy overseeing the bailout. So I'm saying to myself, well, hell, nothing's changed. You might as well have George W. Bush still in there. Nothing's changed. The same guy who's overseeing, giving trillions of dollars to Wall Street is still in office.
Guys, right now we are talking about Trump, why we love him, why we hate him, and, people in government, are they good people, are they nasty child molesters? Yeah, we're talking about that right now.
You got to look behind the president.
Right, and I agree.
That's where the truth is.
And I agree the president, no matter who it is also a puppet. He's being played,
yes.
and he is the puppet. He is the face of America, supposedly. And with that being said, maybe he's being manipulated. That's what I personally believe, too. You never know. Maybe he's always had a gun to the back of his head constantly, 24/7, throughout the time he's been president.
Or maybe the crosshairs on his kid.
Maybe
they're like, hey, you don't do this, your kid's gone.
Maybe there's a secret organization,
the
CIA, or maybe some famous, crazy organizations that, literally said, we will blow you up, we will blow your brains out if you do not, if you don't say this, if you do say this. I feel like there's because I don't know. There's a lot of corruption in government. With that being said, I do want to play this video, people. And if you have any questions, please comment anything. Please leave us a comment on Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, all of it. We love it, people. We are live right now. We started at 8 p.m. Right now we're talking about Trump. And we want to play this video. It was from the 80s, correct?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Sure as hell looks like it.
Yeah, Oprah looks like she's definitely from the 80s. This is Oprah 80s.
Looks like a Wheezy Jefferson almost.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Look at the guy with the middle part mullet on the right of
there it is. Okay, so right now we are watching Oprah, and we're talking about Trump and how and what he would do if he was president and what he's going to do. Because
these tariffs are ridiculous.
They are huge.
Stick them up your ass.
Oh, shit, hold on. I got to turn off the music. Hey, this is called Amateur Radio, people. We are about to watch Trump and Oprah talk about elections in the 80s.
What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have...
Has the man changed at all since then?
Here's the thing.
Is the question.
Guys, right now we're talking about Trump, and, Trump and Oprah talking back in the 80s, and he sounds like he's just talking honest. It doesn't sound like he's being fake.
That's what he said on the campaign trail. That's the same stuff he said.
With that being said, I don't know today in this day and age if it's if it holds its weight in water. So let's try to finish most of this video.
I really like it.
What do you guys think? Comment, please.
No, it doesn't. But I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't. But I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of...
The little edge, but heck of huge hands. All right, guys, this is Going Dutch Radio Network. We just watched Trump taking a dump on politicians and
Look at that
and
hair,
government.
Man.
Oh, I know.
Chicks had awesome hair back then.
I totally agree.
The hair now sucks.
Now,
it's all
it's poofy.
With regards to that kind of talk economically, when I was in college when that happened in 1988. I was in college, and I knew a lot of Japanese, and they all had cars. Every one of them had a car.
Okay.
Nice new car. They all had brand new cars, and they were just middle class kids back home.
This is you in college.
This is me in college, and I had a. This is 1988ish. We'll say 80, 89, 90. I had a 1980 Jetta.
Ooh, nice.
Was the car that I had.
Yeah.
But I had lots of Japanese friends, and they all had brand new cars. They had Supras and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they had really nice cars.
Yeah.
And I knew this one Japanese guy, and he didn't have a car, and he lived in the dorms. And I would talk to him. I'd say, "Hey, Ken, what's up? All these other guys, they all have nice cars and all this stuff, and they have all kinds of money. They were loaded, and they were apparently just middle class, back home. And
weird.
it was just because the Japanese economy was so great. Right. And so he says, "Well, I don't have, I come from a poorer family or whatever." So then Christmas breaks come up, and he doesn't really have much where to go. So I said, "Hey, you can come and stay at, with my folks." I talked with my folks, and they said, "Hey, sure, he can come stay with us for a few days."
Yeah.
So I bring him up. He stays at our house for a while, and then he says, "Hey, I need to go buy some suits." Okay, because he's getting ready to graduate. I go, "Sure," And here's the poor guy, right? He's the poorer of the Japanese, right? And
right.
So I said, "Well, let's go shopping. Where do you want to go?" And he says, "Well, let's go to Brooks Brothers." So we go downtown, because this is where Brooks Brothers was at the time. It was downtown, and we go there, and he gets fitted and all this stuff, and drops like $15,000 on suits. Just like that. And he's supposedly the poor Japanese friend that I have.
Now, here's the thing. Maybe, I don't know how your story's going to end, but maybe, the Japanese or this group of people, they lived so modestly with other things. They're so frugal maybe with where they live or how they live. They never go out. They never do anything. Is that why?
Well, I mean, there are folks like that, I'm sure. But see, and then now regarding with what Trump was saying about tariffs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I went to Japan in 1991, and I was there for 6 weeks. What's funny is there's Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mitsubishi are the main car manufacturers over there.
Yeah.
I'd say over 90% of the cars on the road are Toyotas. It's such a huge company over there. Mm-hmm. Then probably about 5% are Hondas, and then the rest is just mix and match. I saw hardly any American cars. Now, I did happen to see a dealership. I don't know if it was a Ford dealership or not, but they did have a Ford Taurus there, and this is in 1991.
Was that like a luxury car down there?
And here's the
in
thing:
Japan?
Ford Taurus,
Yeah.
just a basic bottom, just regular American sedan, right?
So you're in Japan.
I was in Japan, and I went walking past there, this dealership that was selling a Ford Taurus,
Which is the only Ford Taurus, is the only American-made
The
car
ol-
that
the
you've
only-
seen in Japan, right?
just about the only car I'd seen in Japan that was American made.
Right.
And the sticker price on it was, when I look at the yen and then I do my math and I go, okay, $350,000 because the tariffs were so high. So who's going to buy that?
Nobody. Of course not.
Nobody's going to buy that.
Yeah.
So what year was this? Wait, roughly again?
1991.
So are you trying to state that?
And that's how it is in China right now.
Yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. They're like, if you want an American car, you're going to pay for it.
So should we? Are you trying to state? Because right now, guys, talking about Trump and what he's what he said in the '80s and now and what he's doing. Do you, Mo, believe that we should be taxing, things that are being brought to America, cars, food?
Well, actually,
Well, yeah, see, the thing is
silverware.
Do you agree with what Trump's doing with the tariffs?
Well, yeah. See, the thing is that if you go back to the founding of the country,
Yeah.
the original intent, there should basically no tax on the citizens at all. Nothing. The country should be ran on tariffs.
Okay. So you believe that the tariffs, the taxing
Goods that come into this country.
taxing good that coming from this country from a different country,
We-
no matter
we-
where it is. Do
yeah.
you think tariffs should be higher elsewhere? Or do you think it should be one flat tax? Like, hey,
however
hey,
they do it,
you're
you
a
know.
Japanese company. You're going to get taxed more because, anywhere. I mean,
I think they should
I don't
just
know.
say if you want to sell something in this country, there's a fee that you have to pay to sell it here.
Yeah, and
whatever.
let's not even talk about all.
Why though?
Let's-
Hold on,
let's-
real quick. Why? Why do you believe that? How? What do we mean by taxing? Are we talking about a Toyota vehicle? Let's say right now the sticker price is $20,000. Like how much tariffs are we talking that American people are going to have to pay for in order to get that same Toyota car?
Just match the tariffs that they put on our cars that we try to export.
But does American
Isn't that fair?
Does American companies have enough means, and do they have enough? How am I trying to say this? Does America could America run on itself if we shut down anything that is coming from the outside?
Well, you think about it this way: the
Absolutely.
income
You think
tax.
so?
There
I
was
don't
no income tax until almost 1920.
Our
Let me ask you this.
So
I'm
what?
sorry, real quick.
We were a world power at that time.
With that being
with
said,
no income tax.
I do understand. So tariffs. Okay, you believe that tariffs should be higher. We should tax fucking shit coming in from China higher because, well, hey, you want to sell our stuff, you want to try to sell more stuff, then you're gonna have to pay for it. I
we
get
can
that.
grow
And it
or
really wouldn't
manufacture
take
anything
that,
here.
Yeah, it really wouldn't take that much.
With that being said, how about American companies, technically saying that their headquarters is in Switzerland just for tax breaks? Do you think that's okay? I guess. Or
Well, see, that's
do
the
you think
thing. That's
not-
that's what these American companies end up doing is they outsource and they do all this stuff because it's cheaper to do business.
Yeah, and it's not
overseas.
penalized at all, and that's the problem.
And you guys both think that
They would bring everything home if they just said there's no tax on income, there's no tax on business at all. Everything would be
Well, that's
done
why
here,
Trump
and
cut
we
the
would just
corporate
be.
tax.
Do you think
We would be unstoppable.
Do you think American
as a country, I should say?
I don't. I feel like a lot of it would collapse. I'm not saying that tariffs shouldn't be a bit higher. I feel like there should be a little bit more taxation, but not on the same scale as what you just stated. The Japanese charging $350,000 for a Toyota vehicle, or not Toyota, a Ford vehicle
Taurus, yeah.
because it went from America to Japanese. I just think it shouldn't even be. Maybe a couple percent. I mean, how much are you talking? Like, what do you mean by taxing tariffs?
I mean, at
How
the
much
time, a
tax-
sticker price on a Ford Taurus was
How much-
I don't know, it was probably like $10,000 or something.
How much in tax are we talking? How much in tariffs roughly? I mean, if you just said like, I wish that there would be this percentage amount on tariffs. What percentage would it take for
Are you talking about
for you to think for America to be great again?
Do you talking about on imports?
Yes.
We're taxing imports.
Anything that is
it would
coming
be,
in
it would be hard
outside
to
of the
say
United
because
States.
it would be hard
coming
to say
from.
because it would have to be market driven. It would have
Yeah.
to.
Well, Trump is basically matching what like China would tax on our exports. So he's basically, eye for an eye. Hey, if you're going to do this to us, we're going to do it to you. and everybody's getting fucking out of control about it.
Well, I think part of the problem is that we use so many different goods, services, everything from outside countries. I don't
have to.
I don't think America.
We don't have to even do this.
I think America would literally collapse if we stopped importing everything from the outside tomorrow.
No.
If we stopped tomorrow, we would collapse within a month, dude. In a month.
We made China. China was nothing before we started trading with them.
You're right.
They took all our jobs. Then they sell us their fake ass shitty shit. They sell it back to us, and they jack up the price. Do you think the shoes on your feet right now are worth what you paid for them?
The problem
They're probably made for a nickel, and then the kids who make them, by the way, make no money at all, and they're suicidal. You think this is how things should be?
Right. I'm not saying it's right, but with that being said,
but that's what the argument is right now. They're like, well, Trump's out of control. Who does he think he is trying to actually, impose tariffs on China? He's out of control. Well, this is out of control. You got little kids over in China making our shoes. Then those fuckers who should have their company here with American jobs, they're over there overseas in China. They're selling it back to us for like a 500% profit? What the hell is that?
500% profit. Okay, yes. Okay,
probably
with that being said,
500%.
Guys, right now we're talking about terrorist Trump, and right now we're screaming at each other about what
because
we think
no
is
one
wrong.
Gets it. Like no one cares.
I personally believe that if you just stop having anything outside of America coming in that is made in China, made in Vietnam, made in Russia, if we just stopped all that, and the only thing that you could possibly buy in America is it has to be American made and American goods. I feel like America would collapse tomorrow, and you don't believe that.
We have more. We have oil. We have cotton. We have tons of stuff. Our natural resources are better than any other country than I can think of. We have everything here.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is that
really,
we used to be that way. Everything used to be done here. We used to make our pencils and everything.
There was a lot more pride saying that you are an American.
It was big business that caused all this.
Right. I don't know. But here's the thing. Everybody wants to outsource. Not just American, not American businesses, but other businesses. I mean,
of course they do.
Most companies can survive without selling to America. Like if you're not an American company. Like if you are a Chinese company or Japanese made company, they're selling to the rest of the world. They're not just selling to us. I'm not saying we're not one of the biggest countries, but
that's
come
the
on.
problem with business is that they're beholden to their stockholders.
So
all that they care is about that stock going up. They don't care how they do it. They don't care who they fuck over. It doesn't matter.
Blue, you really believe that being a hermit country, as far as like you literally there has to be a name for that, where your own country is 100% nationally
they call it
sufficient.
Isolationism. Yeah.
Really? Is that what it is?
Isolationism, yeah.
Okay.
Because
it just doesn't sound right.
We don't have to be isolationist.
Yeah, we can still trade with other countries.
We can still trade,
but do it correctly. Don't screw us over in the process where we're paying more for your products and you're paying less for ours. Make it an even playing field. What's wrong with that?
That's the key, is making it even.
Are tariffs still that high? Once again, you were telling the story back in the early 90s that you went to Japan. Obviously, there's nothing but Japanese vehicles around. You saw one Ford Taurus that should have been worth $10,000. Here, it was, in layman's terms,
it was outrageously priced.
$100,000. It was unbelievable price. Okay, do you feel like, are they still doing that today? Is that still? Do you think that's the same or not?
Probably in China.
See,
not in Japan.
I'm not money hungry or anything by any means. But what's funny is I could have made a lot of money if I would have had some foresight. Because if I would have just brought some Levi's there
and some Ford Tauruses,
I'm telling you what, I could have cleaned up.
Really?
Yeah.
Levi, yeah. That's
like a pair of Levi's I could have sold a pair of Levi's. I could have bought them at Target or something.
Right.
For $10 and taken them to Japan and sold them for $500-$600.
Do you guys think that if America was just trying to run on itself and we didn't buy anything, silverware, everything that's made outside of this country, do you feel like Americans could afford it? Because that's half the reason why companies do that.
The thing is that if everything was done, if they didn't tax businesses and they didn't tax the citizens, and then things started to come back home, all the manufacturing jobs, all that stuff, the coal mines and all that stuff being reopened and everything, the American wage earner, the average, we would be making triple, 4 times, 5 times what we're making.
Well, and that's a very good point, because I talk to people all the time. They're pro-union, and yet they're completely against Trump on these tariffs.
What?
And I say,
come on.
if you all right, let's say
Hold on.
no. Let's say that you want to raise the minimum wage, which a lot of liberal people want to do. They want to see the 15 an hour.
I don't think it's just liberals.
So if you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
raise the minimum wage to 15 an hour, they're gonna go to China. They're gonna go to Mexico. They're gonna go to some place where the wages are very low. So how the hell are you gonna stop them from doing that? By doing this?
Yeah, and the thing
Clearly by
about minimum
passing these
wage,
laws.
the thing about minimum wages is that people think, if they got rid of the minimum wage, then the argument is, well, you just don't care about people and stuff like that. Well, no, the thing is that there's no reason why a teenager needs to be making, what is it, 7 something an hour? I mean, they could make $5 an hour, right? But like a
I don't believe so.
Well,
the
depending
thing
on
is,
inflation.
the thing is like when Trump did the thing with the tax cuts and whatever, right?
Yes.
Walmart started hiring people at $15 an hour or something, didn't they? Isn't that what happened?
They did for like a month just to publicize that they're doing it, and then they had the biggest layoff that they ever had.
Okay, see, I don't know anything about that. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying that stuff like that,
And Walmart is
stuff
one of
like
the
that
problems
does
in our country.
Well, yeah, they're a huge problem. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying
definitely.
that if there was not a minimum wage, I think the average wage would be higher than what minimum wage is. I think that they use it as okay,
A
well,
starting line.
This is all I have to pay people.
This is the lowest. Yeah, you're saying that there's a test, so to speak, and you can start with that lowest test, and
If you let the
it's
market
legal.
dictate
Unless
what
you have
the
illegals.
wage is, I think the average wage would be higher than what it is.
Which is ironic because right now, I mean, I will admit, it is definitely a buyer's market as far as people trying to find jobs. Right now is the best time that I can think of in probably the past 15 years. 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you would have, it's someone who was out of a job, who was laid off. Right, it was very difficult to find
Unless-
something. Right now, it's a buyer's market. It
Unless
really
you
is.
have illegals. If you have illegals,
Oh,
no.
Here we go.
No, look at California.
oh my God!
No,
come
no,
on.
no. But the thing is that if you have someone who's from Mexico and they make nothing there, they come here.
They make $8 a day. I was there. I
You
recently
come
went there. It's
here.
ridiculous.
You come here and
Yes.
then
Swear to God.
and then you say to them, "Look, you're gonna make a very small wage." They're happy about it because they make nothing over there.
Yeah.
You know,
But I
they
do.
make nothing over there.
You always hear that
And
stereotype that
that's
they
another
always
problem.
they always do the jobs that no one else wants to do, and
Yeah.
I think that's partially true. I mean,
Not
Well,
mowing
I'll tell you-
lawns, not
well,
landscaping.
I'll tell you one thing.
There's a huge proliferation of non-Mexican people landscaping.
My experience with
You can
the,
make good money landscaping.
are you trying to say that American landscapers are losing out on business because of Mexican illegals?
No. I think that
Come on.
before that was what Mexicans did, and then more and more Americans couldn't find good, decent work, so they started mowing lawns, and now that's why you have
Because
more
it's hard manual
Americans.
labor, and yes,
Yeah.
many Americans do it, and it's a great business.
A lot of Americans
if
do
you
hard
do it
labor.
right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, but they are. You feel like, okay, why is it that it's always that synopsis that Mexicans, the Mexican women are not servants. I don't even know the word for
Like
it.
nannies or
Nannies,
housepeople.
housekeepers. Because
That's
Why?
exactly what they want in California. They
who's they?
celebrities, powerful people,
And because you can
Yes. you can pretty much dictate how much
you can
that
pay
they
them
make.
nothing.
It's
really.
cheap. It's cheap.
Yes,
Yeah. That's
and
absolutely
any
why
other
they want
nanny,
the Mexicans. in
usually
there.
like an American nanny, like a professional American nanny
Yeah.
who's
A lot
certified.
of money.
It costs fucking.
Yeah.
It costs more than what each of us make a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, way
Yeah.
more than that because
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if you have
And
a,
this is
if you have a
why-
Mexican one, it's probably $8 a day or $8 an hour. I'm sure it's probably ridiculous.
And the people
Or
who
even
run
less.
the people who run California, they're like the Zuckerbergs, the people in Silicon Valley, and actors and actresses. They make loads of money, and they want to hire Mexican people to do the labor for them. They want them to watch their kids. They want them to clean their house.
because it's cheaper.
Cheap labor. That's why they want them in there. That's why that they're so pro immigration, because it's cheap.
I
for them.
don't think that's why.
I think
Well,
so.
Wait,
I think
most
so.
most super rich people, like if we're talking not super rich, but most people who are multimillionaires, I mean, I think normally they are philanthropists. I can't ever say that right.
Philanthropist.
And they do want people
Tax
to be
breaks.
good, but
Tax
I mean,
breaks.
I feel like most liberal people believe that not that immigration should be just completely illegal, but they believe they are softer about immigration than
Very
your
soft.
Republicans.
No. Well, they're talking about California
But you're
becoming like a
stating-
haven for illegal
But
immigrants.
that's because you believe people in California are so rich and they're so fucking frugal that they don't want to pay the average American nanny versus
Yes.
the wage of a Mexican.
Well, and if you look at the economy of California, if you look at their social hierarchy, in terms of their economy, they have the super rich and they have very poor people there. There's a lot of, in fact, I think the percentage of poor people in California is the highest percentage out of any state in the nation, and I think that's for a good reason.
I don't
They're
think it has anything to
They're
do with.
super rich over there.
I don't think it has anything to do with the illegals.
They just want to sleep well at night because they convince themselves that they're humanitarians, but they're really just doing it to get cheap. They want Mexican people to watch their kids, to clean their houses because they don't have to pay them a lot of money, and that's
Here's the thing.
That's an issue.
If you knew, and I don't think that's actually Californians people from California who make a lot of money. The reason why they don't pay American nannies because let's say you knew without a doubt that you could pay somebody less for the same service. Wouldn't you do it?
No, it makes perfect economic sense.
American
Of course
business,
it does.
the business that I work for, the business that he works for, the business that you work for. If they knew that you could do your same quality of job and the same workmanship,
Sure.
and they know for a fact that they could pay you $2 less, or that they could have, they would do it in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat if I could, if I owned a
course.
business. You just that's what you do. That's cutthroat. That's
But
just the way life is. I'm
but
not
that's
saying
the
I'm not saying you want to
problem.
make their life worse, but that's the way life is. I mean,
but that's the problem is that there's so many immigrants here and they're working for low wages and it's keeping other Americans. Hey, if you want to become an American, go through the process, and that's how you should become a citizen of this country. But whenever you come over the border, there's hey, it's the truth, man. It's the truth, and by God, eventually people are going to see it. And if they don't see it, I don't know what to say.
I don't think immigration should be 100% legal. Yes, otherwise just have zero borders and people can just fucking.
I'm totally for immigration.
They can just flop on the ground on
but
America.
the thing is,
what do you think?
that-
Hold on, real quick, Mo. What do you think? What's your take on immigration in a synopsis? I'm just curious.
On immigration?
Immigration.
You mean about illegals coming over the border and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, you should treat it like your house. I mean, you don't just let anybody wander in your house, right?
Ooh.
I like the way
conservative.
Mo's talking. I like the
Very
way he's
conservative.
talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Mo haven't disagreed on
seriously,
anything tonight.
You don't. Nobody just lets people wander in their house. Or like you came home, right, and then some guy's sitting on your couch eating out of your fridge.
Actually, that has happened.
You know what I'm saying? Some
sure
guy,
it
and he's like, well,
Was it Rich Vance?
The door was open, so I came in. Or even if the door wasn't open, I came in. And,
Right.
I mean, you would have issue with that. So.
Okay. I understand.
I mean,
I understand
if
that.
someone wants to be a citizen here, if they want to come here, they should go through the channels.
Yeah, but the insane people in California are saying, no, you don't have to do that. You
Let me
can
ask
just
you
come
this.
over here because you're being discriminated against because you're separated
So
from
real
your
quick.
kid or some shit.
So, Mo, you believe with immigration, illegals coming to America, you 100% cannot just jump the border and say, "Hey, you made it. You're illegal, right?" So you believe that immigration, it should be very controlled. If you jumped
yeah.
over here illegally, you were going back no matter what. If we find out that's what you believe.
Yeah, I mean, they should be deported or whatever, and there should be incentives.
Let me ask you this:
to
how about if let's say I live in Europe,
Okay.
just a normal part of I'm not poor at all. Actually, I'm doing pretty well. But I knew that there was American hospitals have much better quality of cancer care or just some crazy disease care than where I am at in Europe where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Are they allowed to go to America and use our service?
you can get a green card.
Yeah, I mean,
you can get a temporary visa.
What if the treatment was long term, like long term assisted living care?
You can get a visa for like 2 or 3 years. The problem is that we give visas to immigrants or people from Mexico or other countries, South America or whatever, and they stay here. They don't leave.
yeah, they
don't
their
ever go
visa
back.
expires or whatever, and they just
Yeah,
stay.
they just
that
stay
happens
here.
a lot.
I personally
I mean,
believe
that's like the big issue.
I do believe
Yeah.
there has to be a border, and at least there has to be. I believe anybody should be allowed in, but at least there should be. Okay,
But there has to be a way of regulating who's
real
coming
quick.
in and that kind
no,
of
no,
thing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody should be allowed in America and to be an American and a citizen. But with that being said, whenever you come over, past the border into America, it's like here's a photo, here's your name, we have all documentation of you. Like you can be a citizen, you just have to do it once you hit the border.
Well, they do have.
But the thing is that
do they? I thought they're tightening borders right now.
No,
we're like you just can't come in for no reason.
No.
If
If you have a visa that they have information on you, they know who you are and everything, but they just go off the grid. And then they get a job somewhere picking fruit or something.
So you guys,
or people that come in that are wishing ill on the country. I mean, they could come in and just be a terrorist. You know, I mean,
yeah, I do agree to that. But I feel like there's a lot better quality of people outside of America percentage-wise than people in America.
There has to be some screening.
Well, of course
for
you think
people
that
in
way.
the country. You know,
of course you think that way because liberal people like yourself want to think that people from other countries are perfect. Because
I didn't say they're perfect. I did not say they're perfect.
No, it's just that you're brainwashed to think that way. You think Canadians are so much better than Americans.
I don't think they're better. I think overall, I feel like they are much nicer to the environment and much nicer to people in general.
No, they're really not. They're really not because whenever an immigrant comes into their country through America, they throw it back to us to deal with it. They give us their trash. That's what the Canadians do to keep themselves clean.
What do you mean? Say that again?
Whenever an immigrant, let's say you have someone from Venezuela, comes up through Mexico into America, and they're like, fuck this American thing. I'm going to go to Canada. I'm going to get free health insurance, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So they go up through Canada, and they get caught. Canada just throws them back to us. They don't embrace them. They don't hug them at the border and say, yes, brother, you're here. You have actually reached the place you've been looking for, where we're going to give you health insurance
for free,
and we're going to give you a job,
and you're going to say A after every sentence.
You get all these people to come
propaganda.
Here. You get all these people to come here, and they just get
they're assholes.
Free health care.
They're all assholes.
Free this, free
Europe
that.
too.
They get all this free stuff.
Europe gets sucked off by liberals like left and right. I mean, we're the ones dealing with the wars, with the terrorists, with all the problems of the world.
Because that's what happens when you're number one.
We're like
that's what always happens at anything. Businesses, organizations, religious beliefs. When you're number one in your category, you're always going to have to do more than everybody else, and you're going to have to deal with more bullshit and more scrutiny and more criticism.
Allow for a metaphor. America right now is the father who comes home at the end of the night after an 18-hour shift, fucking tired. And then all the kids and the mother and whoever start, saying, "Oh, you're in a bad fucking mood, huh?" As usual, Dad's in a bad mood. Like that's America right now. America is Al Bundy. We're getting shit on left and right.
And that's because the Mexicans jump in the border.
We're the ones who are taking care of everything. We take care of immigrants.
It's because we dip our hands in everything as well.
And we're the ones who are paying taxes on it.
But we're dipping our hands in everything.
No. That's why none of us can. That's why none of us can afford to retire. We don't have Social Security.
I don't think
we don't have Medicare because we're paying taxes for all. Well, because immigrants come over here, they go to the hospital. Hospital takes care of them. Who do you think is going to pay for them to be taken care of at the hospital?
What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about all the money that we're spending
real quick
for all the people that come over.
Okay, think about it. You said there's a lot of illegals that are off the grid.
We're talking about losing jobs. We're talking about taking care of people at hospitals.
Do illegals that are off the grid, are they allowed to go and get free health care?
Yeah, they go to the
emergency
hospital.
rooms so they don't fucking die. Do you want to see someone die because they're illegal?
But should they be over here to begin with? Do you want to do something about that to where they're not over here to where they're going to the emergency room?
It should be regulated. As long as they're paying their taxes, yes, you're in.
Well, it's not being regulated.
Well, it's because they're off the grid. And when they're off the grid, there's horror stories of people that are off the grid and their quality of life is terrible because of it, and they almost want to go back to Mexico.
Well, fine, then go back to Mexico.
Some of them do.
Well, then fine. Then that's fine. But so what you're saying is that
but hold on.
Here's the thing. Everybody that comes over the border, we should take care of them with our tax money. Which, by the way, we don't have much money left.
Listen to me.
Listen.
I don't think you're listening. You're not a very good listener, obviously.
Well, you're not listening to me either.
Once again,
you're on your soapbox again. But please go ahead.
If you are documented that you are now in America and you are now a citizen, then you legally have to pay taxes. And you on everything. Everything you buy is taxed. Everything, your income is taxed. Whether you're a fucking not a servant, once again, a nanny. Whether you work at Shop and Save, whether you have a great job, everything's being taxed, and you're paying your dues. You're paying your part. Then yes, anybody can come over if they can do that. Absolutely.
Wait. So you're saying a flood of what, like 100 million people would come over here then?
If they are legally
cross the border and you can come over here.
If you're not doing anything illegal,
there's a finite amount of room that we have.
That's not true. Montana, and jobs. Montana, listen to me. Montana.
You're totally insane.
Natural
if you think that's a good idea. anybody who comes onto our soil should become an American citizen right away. That's
As-
what you're saying right now?
As long as you are doing your part as an American citizen.
What does that entail? A
Paying
job?
taxes. Paying taxes. That's it. Paying fucking taxes. That's all that matters in America. If you pay your taxes, then the government should be able to help you out.
So they have to get a job.
Yes.
What job would they get?
Any job.
I mean, I'm talking about 500 million people. We're talking about a whole continent of people coming over the border.
Uh-huh.
So right now we can't employ all the Americans that live here. What is it, like 400 million, 350 million?
No, most people.
So
who,
now
no.
we're gonna have another 500
I personally believe
million
most
who are
people
gonna
who
come
are
up the border.
most people who are on unemployment for over a year, unless they are disabled or something's mentally wrong with them, they do it because they're lazy.
Well,
Okay,
the
Americans are
market
very
would-
lazy.
the market would have
don't,
to-
don't deny it. Think about it. Think about no.
okay.
Hold on. Think about all those people that are unemployed or in the unemployment office. All right, if you were able to be a fly on the wall, how many people can you just look and be like, okay, like the way that they're bitching about, oh, I'm not good enough, or I can't find a job. Well, you're not fucking actually looking for a
there's
job.
a lot of lazy people
Well, I
out there.
It's a
can't
but
buyer's
disagree with
market.
you on that. I mean,
Yeah, but
There's
as-
always
as
gonna be
far as
unemployment.
A bunch of people flooding into the country. The market couldn't
be
bear
insane.
just a bunch of people just showing up. I mean, it couldn't happen.
it'd be total.
I think they could.
insanity.
I think they could. As long as they're paying their dues, then why not be legal? I don't understand
But
it.
they would have to be hired
You're
by
talking 500
something,
million
you know.
jobs.
They could
I
be-
mean, if we have like a couple million jobs, it's like a miracle or something. You're talking
Yeah.
about employing 500 million people.
Why
I mean,
500
they
million?
all
Why do you
can't-
keep on saying 500 million?
Because they would all rush up here because their countries suck. They're either in a civil war, they're either poor. I mean, have you seen South America? They live in huts. Do you think they'd stay down there? They'd say, fuck yeah, I'm going to go across the border into America.
Once
and then we'd
again-
have to take care of them
Once
and find
again,
them a fucking job.
I personally believe that if you, as an immigrant, come into America, anybody's allowed in as long as they can self-sustain themselves.
But you have to actually have a certain quota. You can't have, you can't say, everybody come in. You have to have a certain amount of people so that you know that they're actually going to be able to get a job, that you're not overwhelmed with too many people coming over.
Well, as long
I
as
mean,
we,
this is very
as long as
simple.
as long as we don't have imports, like you think that there should be no imports, then well, shit, there's gonna be a lot of jobs popping up because we're gonna have to start making a lot of shit here, aren't we?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe we would. But
I mean,
there's,
even- yeah.
but there's a
Anybody
lot,
outside the United States who's watching or listening, if you are,
there's
please,
a lot
please
of,
come to America because
there are a lot of unemployed Americans who would probably like to have a good paying job.
they don't try to even get any job.
Especially the ones who work,
Let me ask
a
you
shit
something.
job.
Let
And
me
there's
ask
a
you-
lot of them work shit
Let me
jobs.
ask you a question,
Yeah.
a serious question. I'm being 100% honest here. Let's say you lost your job and got laid off. Let's say the only job that you could find for 2 months, 3 months straight after you were laid off is a job making minimum wage. Would you rather just be on unemployment, or would you actually
Unemployment.
would you rather just work for minimum wage?
Probably unemployment. I'd probably make more.
So the pride doesn't matter. You don't mind being on unemployment.
Oh, the pride? No. I mean,
It doesn't bother you?
I mean, I would like to
'Cause
actually.
you talk a lot of shit about people being on unemployment because that's
No,
partially happening
no,
as well.
no, I
People
didn't
that
say
make-
anything
there's
about
people on
people who are
unemployment.
unemployed.
There's people that are making
No,
on
no, no,
unemployment that are
no.
making more than people who are making minimum wage.
You're just trying to twist my words
I'm
around.
not. I'm just
No.
asking you a legit question.
No. What you're trying to do is make it look like that I'm, been talking shit on people who are unemployed. I am for people who are unemployed because of
I'm
jobs.
talking shit about people unemployed.
No. What you're talking about people who are what? You're talking shit about people who are unemployed. Why would you do something like that?
Because okay, a lot of
You're
Americans
supposed to be like
who are
some
unemployed,
liberal, some bleeding heart liberal. I mean, what are you talking about?
but hard work pays off.
No, it doesn't in this country anymore. That's the
It does.
problem.
It does.
Because
People-
all the jobs are overseas.
People don't try hard enough. I think that's the problem.
don't
America
think so.
always used to strive for more and greater, and whether you had pride or not, whatever, people would fucking work their dick off, and sweat, tears. They would pretty much have the worst life ever.
So you want to go back to that?
No, I'm stating that America's gotten soft. Let's get hard, people. Let's get real hard, rock hard.
I think that's a very insane pro-corporate point of view you have there.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're talking about probably before the unions. I mean, people used to work in
If
sweatshops
somebody,
for 15 cents
if
an
somebody
hour.
could do my
They were
job,
working hard back
if
then.
somebody could do my job, and take my job and make me unemployed, and for the same pay, and they just happen to be immigrant, and they could do the same quality of work, they could be the exact same person but better than me, then they deserve to have my job. They do. They really do. I honestly believe that.
So you believe in natural selection economically?
What do you mean?
Natural selection, basically the strongest survive.
Yeah, I mean, you're paid for what you're worth. So if an immigrant is worth more than me because they are doing a better quality job, then they deserve to have my job. Anyone should. It shouldn't be just an American. It should be anybody.
I can't figure out what the hell you believe in anymore. I mean, you just totally did a 180 on everything you were saying earlier.
That what?
Well, I mean, you were... Anyway.
Everybody, if you're an immigrant,
No.
come in America. I'll support you. All right?
Of course he will. You guys will work for 15 cents an hour. He likes that. He doesn't want to have a good old-fashioned American job so that there aren't ghettos everywhere and people killing each other over drugs, which you have to pay taxes for, by the way.
Hey, by the way, guys, as long as you can sustain yourself and pay taxes, meaning you don't just like get
Which
government
wouldn't happen
assistance.
if, half of South America came up here.
Why?
Because you wouldn't be able to give all them a good-paying job to pay taxes. Mo, will you please get on here?
Well, as what now?
I
See,
don't
my experience in actual real life dealing with immigrants, say, or
Most immigrants I know are normally pretty damn good people, and
Okay.
they're normally
I'm
more
not
wealthy
saying
than us.
no,
Most
here,
of them
check
are
this
more
out.
I'm not saying
wealthy
they're
than
bad
us.
people. I'm
Okay.
not saying they're bad people.
this is a real life incident. Okay,
I'm talking about illegals, by the way.
I used to work at. I was working at this restaurant, and there was an American guy. In Monday through Friday, he would wash dishes, and he would go into the men's and women's room every morning, Monday through Friday, and wash. And he would clean the restrooms top to bottom. And at nighttime,
Yeah.
the Mexicans would come in and they would cook.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know what their legal status was, but they were from Mexico, and they all spoke Spanish.
Chances are they probably got to be legal if it was a decent, like, if it was a well-known
Yeah, I would
restaurant.
imagine that they all had green cards
Visa,
or whatever it was.
Right,
visas
right.
or whatever it was.
I got you.
Yeah. So then Saturday and Sunday, that guy, the American guy, didn't wash dishes. He only did Monday through Friday.
Right.
So a Saturday morning comes around, and there's a couple of Mexicans guys that come in to wash dishes. And I said, okay, the dishwasher's job in the morning is to clean the restrooms. Make sure there's toilet paper and all that kind of stuff. Just spray everything down and whatever.
Right.
They wouldn't do it. They refused to clean the restrooms.
See, me from
And so I sent them home. Okay.
yeah.
And then later on in the day, and so then I made the busboy go in there and clean the restrooms. Anyways, then later on in the day, and I had the cooks just help go wash dishes from time to time. So then later on in the day, when the kitchen manager comes in, she says, hey, I heard you sent home what's his name,
Right.
Well, yeah, his job as dishwasher is one of his duties is to clean the restrooms.
Okay.
He wouldn't do it.
Yes. I
So
mean,
I
I
sent
get
him
that
home.
so far, yeah.
So anyway, so she says, well, when he's washing dishes, he only gets paid $9 an hour. And when he's doing his landscaping job Monday through Friday, he gets paid $15 an hour. So why would he go scrub toilets for $9 an hour?
You're right.
And I go, it's his job, And so she says, well, no more. The Mexicans don't have to clean the restrooms anymore. That was her rule.
Do you know why? Probably because
Okay, go ahead.
she was probably afraid of a lawsuit. That's the reason.
Whatever
why.
the reason is, the American,
I feel like most
Irish guy went in there and cleaned the restrooms.
most immigrants, I believe, will do a lot more and work harder and do jobs that most of us don't
But
want
that's
to do
what I'm saying.
because they're immigrants.
They weren't doing jobs that most Americans
No,
wouldn't
they
do.
don't.
You know what I'm saying?
They
weren't.
Probably because
The jobs that they do don't pay anything, though. Americans would do... They'd probably lick somebody's asshole if you gave them $30 an hour. But, picking fruit, if you're Mexican and you're either illegal or even legal, you don't make any money doing it.
I'm
So
just
nobody
saying that
wants
was
to
a
do it.
real life example of something that I witnessed.
I mean, people put up with shit every day because of their paycheck. I mean, to say that, well, if you got rid of immigrants, there would be nobody to pick fruit. They'd pick fruit if you paid them. And that's the problem.
Oh, I mean, think about every single massive. I mean, we're talking about wineries, massive wineries employing hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, these vineyards are massive, right? Okay.
Are you talking about stomping on the grapes?
Not like Isla Lucy, no. Okay, we're not going back to that. But imagine, like, okay, they hire immigrants to pay them, I mean, not much money because it is a horrible job. It is a horrible job. Like, you don't see one fucking American ever in a vineyard. You won't. You will not.
They don't make money.
So should we, let's just say we got rid of, so to speak, we sent them all back to Mexico. Who would run the vineyard? Who would run that company that employs probably hundreds of thousands of Americans as well that aren't picking grapes?
So, are you saying that the people who work at the wineries are legal or illegal? Because I'm saying illegal. If they're illegal, this is what I'm talking about. If they're legal, whatever. You do whatever you want to do.
Most of them are illegal.
If they're illegal, okay. Now
they pay them cash.
Yeah. So they're paying them nothing.
And most of these...
There's something wrong with that.
And most of the government knows about it.
I know.
Knows that
I know.
Chateau Ste. Michelle or Robert Mondavi vineyards are doing this and paying them cash under the table, and they just let them do it. Why? Do you know why? Because no one else wants to do that job. And they can't let this company fall apart paying somebody $20 an hour to do it instead of $5.
They don't want to do the job because it doesn't pay. You put money... I mean, you've seen game shows where they're like, if you eat this weird fucking bug, we'll give you money. Or if you do this or that, we'll give you money. People do it. Americans will do anything for money. You set the price right, they'll do it. They'll stomp on grapes or whatever they're doing. So this whole argument that, well, they're not going to do it because it's a dirty, sweaty job. What the fuck do you think roofing is? Is roofing like great time?
It pays really well.
Because it pays well.
Yes.
Pay the people, but they don't want to because they're greedy.
Who is greedy? Who's greedy?
The people who own the wineries.
I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the government's not doing it. Sure, the government needs to crack down on that.
The government is letting it
be illegal. I totally
100%
think the government should go after these businesses that employ illegal immigrants.
All right.
100%.
On that note, guys, this is Going Dutch Radio Network. We went live at 8 o'clock tonight, every single Saturday night at 8 p.m. Real quick, there's a shout-out. We have a shout-out to Laura and Danny. Thank you guys for watching. They are loyal listeners. He has called in a few times. Danny, if you do call in, please call in after the break because we will be taking a break here in just a few minutes. Right now, we're talking about a lot of things. We talked about Trump and child molestation. Now we segued into immigration, but this is good. I mean,
we don't need topics anymore. We'll just talk.
Mo, how do you think the show is going so far? How do you think? How are you feeling so far? Okay, or
I thought it was shaky at first, but it's come along pretty well.
What do you think was shaky at first?
I don't know.
It was iffy.
Why?
Just because of the first kind of way it was going was kind of iffy.
Right. We lost a member, and we thought of our topics 5 minutes before the show started, which
we came back, we clawed back.
But no, it's come back pretty well. Yeah.
Once again,
it's been fun.
Thank you. You do enjoy it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very much so.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Who is watching right now? Danny and Laura. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to them, and shout out to anybody who likes to comment and talk and watch Going Dutch Radio Network. But yeah, we're talking about immigration. And I think you guys are all just. I think you're completely wrong, Blue. I think you're 100% completely wrong. But we can't keep on talking about this over and over again.
Well, I mean, I still don't really understand what we're disagreeing on.
Immigration should be 100% legal as long as as they're documented and they're paying taxes. I think it should be legal. But with that being said, I feel like most of the time the reason why people have a problem with illegals is because they're taking jobs away from potential Americans. Blah blah blah. Well, no, it's because these American companies.
No, I do agree with that. No,
yeah. You do agree with that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it pretty much comes down to the companies that are employing them.
And real quick, shout out. Sorry, I just got to make sure to get this out there. Moe Zura right now. Moe Zura. That's the guy right there. Say hi. Wave.
Hi there. Yes.
Yeah, that's him. Yes. He is Moe Zura. He is a religious man. He is the righteous man. He's also into some conspiracies, which we're going to talk about a little bit after break as well. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. We're going to take a quick commercial break here, probably for about 10 minutes or so. Is that okay?
Sure.
And then we're going to go back on. That was a long first segment. That's probably the longest we've ever had, without a doubt. Yes, I feel like we should just talk about Flat Earth and then run home with it. So, I know. Jesus, exactly. So, real quick, another shout out to Danny and Laura. He said, I quote, Danny said, "To be honest, I'm not liking the camera switch. I would rather see all. I like to see all of you. All the time." That kind of sounds weird now, the way he said that. But, yes, guys, we do have a new camera set up. We do have 2 different cameras, and it pans every 8 seconds. Danny said, "How do I call without Facebook?" Well, Danny, you call us. You ready, Danny? It is 636-9 636-6945. That's right, Danny. That is 636-926-6945. But don't call right now. You got to wait a minute. We're about to go on break. Call us after break. This is Going Dutch Radio Network, people. We are going to go on commercial break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.
Guys, I just want to say that I was on YouTube a lot recently. I get on there all the time, and I listen to Michael Bolton. I listen to a lot of different bands, but I was scrolling down, and I typed in Dutch. I just was looking for the movie Dutch, and basically what happened was I saw Dutch Radio Network, which you can find on YouTube.
Yeah.
I started watching it. I enjoyed what I saw, what I heard, and I said, hey, I have to follow these guys, and now I am on the show. I kid you not. Your dreams can come true, and you can be on Dutch Radio Network as a guest. You're not going to be a main star like us, but you can be a guest. That's one of the places you can go to watch Dutch Radio Network is on YouTube. I'm going to let this guy to the left of me tell you where else you can find Dutch Radio Network. Thank you.
I'll be honest, the first time I realized Going Dutch Radio Network was the best podcast, not only in St. Louis of motherfucking Missouri, but in the whole United States and the whole world. It just blew my mind. I mean, it just absolutely blew my mind. They have the best Facebook page ever. I mean, oh my God, I could just go on and on. You know, if you guys ever go on their website, goingdutchradionetwork.com, it is like the best fucking website ever. And I was once on the show, and oh my God, like, I almost passed out. Like, the camera's on me, and I was just feeling so good but nervous, and I was a little hard. But
it's okay. That's the way I felt the first time I was on the show.
Yeah.
Okay? But now I'm kind of a regular on the show, and I really enjoy it a lot.
You guys are a bunch of Nancy fucking Pantsy boys. Let me tell you something. I listen to Going Dutch Radio because I like their kind of talk. They talk straight and they talk forward, and that's why I listen to fucking Going Dutch goddamn radio.
all right, guys, so look up Going Dutch Radio Network, like us on Facebook, and subscribe.
YouTube and Twitch.com.
Whatever they just said.
I'm not falling, I'm just getting started, and I'm finally on my way. This is the end of the old time, and that good luck feeling is what I'm feeling. And I woke up in the morning today. Could be the sunshine in my eyes, could be you right by my side. Things are looking up today. Things are looking up today. I'm not stalling, I just got the call and I'm up and on my way. I'd hit the clock if I had to, but the way I'm feeling, it would be stealing. Missed out on the day. Could be the sunshine in my eyes, could be you right by my side. Things are looking up today. Things are looking up today. Instead of staring out the window, let's get outside, let's go.
All right, guys. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. That's right, guys. Going Dutch Radio Network. I am CJ, your host, and the crew with me today, to the right of me, if you're looking at the camera, it is Blue. How's it going, Blue?
Not bad. Feeling good.
All right.
Feeling pumped up for this.
Wow, good. All right, and to
Fucking
the
pumped. No. Seriously, I'm really pumped.
like, how pumped are you?
Like I am just keep going. Just talk to the other guy. I can't even explain how pumped up I am.
Well, I have a name, Blue.
All right. On that note, the man to the left of me, his name is Candy. How's it going, Candy?
It's going pretty good.
So pumped.
I'm just as pumped as he is. Well, maybe not as pumped. As
I am
he
so
is,
fucking pumped.
but a little pumped.
God, I feel like there's a lot of pumping going on.
I actually have a few questions. I was actually wondering how the show came about, Dutch Radio. You never actually shared it with our viewers. Maybe you have, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Yes. So me, CJ, that's right. I am CJ, the host. I decided during conception that I wanted to start doing a online podcast where we could do it live at least, once a week and be able to kind of have archive podcasts to watch because I thought it'd be fun to talk about politics, conspiracies, controversies, and so forth. And that's really how it came about, if you want me to be honest. It's that simple. And within about 3 weeks, I think, we got all of the equipment. We got everything. Microphones, mixers, computer software, everything, people. You have no idea how much this shit costs.
Including
it's
the
ridiculous.
table. The table.
Oh no,
And the
we're
table.
getting a new table.
We're getting a
here
new
soon.
table now.
We are getting a new table, just like we got a new projector.
We're moving up in the world here.
What
we
kind
are.
of table are we gonna get? I like this table.
We're gonna get a rectangular table that looks just like this one,
Ooh.
but it's smaller.
Can I put my gum under it? Because that's what I like to do with my gum.
I would advise against that. It has sentimental value to me.
Okay, I won't
It
do
is
it.
my table, but it's our table now for the show.
Can I put my penis on it occasionally?
Speaking of labels and penises, I don't know how that was a good segue. I want to talk about how we got our names on the show, our nicknames on the show. So, Blue, would you like to talk about how you got your nickname? And can you explain it?
It's a very interesting story. I showed up on my first day here, and I was wearing a lot of blue. And then one of the two guys who used to be on the show was like, "Hey, that guy's wearing a lot of blue," so they call me Blue.
That is actually a pretty good name.
I mean, it is, and you don't understand, folks. Blue,
It's better than my name.
to the right of me, always on the camera. I mean, my God, he has never not worn blue, ever. I don't
Never.
know if it's a
Never
fashion
not worn.
statement or if he's just really into it. But
I'm not a Democrat, though.
anyways, to the camera's left, as always, is Candy. And Candy, how did you get your name? How'd your name come about?
Do you even know?
I know my name.
So,
Okay, it wasn't my choice, but it was kind of interesting the first day at work here because this is kind of work.
Wow.
every
this
Saturday
is
night.
becoming a job, man.
I said, "What should my nickname be?" You guys were naming out names, and then someone said Candy. I don't know if it was you, CJ, or Blue, but
I think it was me.
Was
but-
he?
I was thinking something sweet, and I was looking at him like,
yeah, he's like Candy. So I said, "You know what? That's fine.
Some sweet
It
candy.
doesn't really matter what my nickname is, but Candy has kind of stuck with me.
right. I mean, I remember Blue first said Blowjob Betty. I'm like, let's go a little,
It
less.
has to be appropriate.
Exactly.
And we can sell candy while we're talking about me.
Right, exactly.
You should sell candy.
All right, guys, don't forget to watch Going Dutch Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We are on commercial break. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. Please like and subscribe to us on Facebook and look us up on our own website. That's right, guys. We have a www.goingdutchradionetwork.com. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Sneak a peek in my head, past the promise, past regret, to the place where I hide. You could come inside in your face and your ears, all my hopes and my fears. I'm a freak and a fake. You could take me or leave me. This is true, as true as it needs to be. something that works for me well. I'm surrounded by assassins I can't see without my glasses. I'm afraid they're whispering things about me that are mean from now on. Things might get weird, don't settle in. Or shed a tear, well. You should laugh, you should cry, you could close your eyes and go to sleep and have a dream where you're gentle and sweet and well fed. I found love and charity. I found something that works for me well. You should laugh, you should cry, you could close your eyes and go to sleep and have a dream where you
All right, guys. I'm very loud right now. And we're back. We're back from commercial break. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. Going Dutch Radio Network, podcast number 20. All right, guys, we're back from break. We talked about a lot so far on prior to commercial break. What did we talk about, Blue? Give us a synopsis.
Well, we talked about immigration quite a bit. We talked about child molesters in our government and the fact that they want to shut down white supremacist websites, even though they continue to allow the posting of children.
Yeah.
In inappropriate fashion. And I mean that's pretty much it. It just kind of we talked about a lot.
Yeah. We talked about a lot. Mo, I keep on asking you this, but tell the audience, this is your second appearance on on Going Dutch Radio Network. We are live every Saturday night starting at 8 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, iTunes. How do you like it so far, Mo?
It's very interesting.
You like it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot of fun.
You heard it, folks. Mo likes it. You should too. Moe Zura.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He's our second appearance. It is his second appearance. How do you think? Do you like having him on, Blue, and why?
I like having Mo on primarily because he is filled with information on not only the Bible but just he has a lot of stories. He's experienced a lot of things. Apparently, he's been to Japan.
Yeah,
for the love of God. And I think that influences a lot of his opinions and beliefs, which I think is the best way to go about it. You know, you can read a newspaper or go online and, I mean, that's really second to actual, human experience in your everyday life. So,
sure.
Mo,
we like you, Mo.
And,
we like you. We want some Mo.
You and me have pretty much agreed on everything tonight, so I think we're on a good roll here.
I feel like we're starting to understand the real Moe Zura.
Yeah,
okay?
The real Moe Zura knows what he's talking about.
I mean,
he knows what he's
doing.
Yeah.
On that note, people, we I think are probably about to get a call. If you do have any comments on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, while we're live or when we're not live, please comment. And if you do want to call us 636-926-6945. That was really loud. On that note, guys, what do you guys want to talk about? Do you guys want to go right into it?
Why don't we go back to the here we go.
What do we want to talk about? Come on.
Let's talk about...
It's gotta be exciting.
Mo, you earlier were on the porch. We're coming up with some ideas tonight.
Sure.
And you mentioned that the best form of government or lack thereof, the best civilization is anarchy.
Yes, actually, let's talk about this before we go into our last subject.
I don't know about that. Not necessarily
am I putting
anarchy,
words in your mouth? I feel like I am.
So, Mo, what is your political beliefs? Are you a Democrat, Republican? What if you had to label yourself? And I don't think you like labels, but if you had to, what are you politically?
Well, I'm apolitical. Really, I really don't involve myself in politics. I used to follow politics very closely. I could tell you pretty much in every. I could tell you pretty much where every representative was from and all that kind of stuff. But I can't do that anymore.
So
not even close. I couldn't tell you hardly anything about what goes on in politics anymore.
Blue said that you're. He brought up anarchy. You're an anarchist or something. Well, what does he mean by that? Why is he saying that?
What I guess I think that the thing is that as minimal government as possible, as minimum,
like libertarian,
or pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
as that'd probably be, I'd say that's pretty close,
Okay, I mean,
just very minimal. Doesn't need to be doing anything. It's just we should just
small
the
government
citizens should just
let the people control themselves.
Do what they want to do.
Do your own thing.
Much. I think that's that, and I don't mean to say that people should just do whatever they want, but that's
right.
As far as forms of government go, yeah, sure, I think it's the best,
especially at this point because we're so I guess socially engineered to where I think people can govern themselves in a very responsible way.
You think so?
Well, I mean, if let's say you went back 200 years ago and people were still doing, they're having, and I don't want to bring this up, but like duels and like shootouts and stuff, and it was
the
about,
Wild West. I mean, literally.
Right,
is that what you're trying to say?
Well,
I gotcha.
yeah. Thank you.
No, you're
and
good.
no, and there was still something was lacking. People were still, killing each other and being uncivil. But now, given how much more educated we are and how much more humanitarian we are, I think that we are at a point where we could successfully govern ourselves.
Yeah.
You really?
What do
think
you
I mean,
so?
people
Yeah.
don't kill.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a law. There's a law against murder, right? I mean, people don't not murder because it's against the law. If there's a situation that comes up and blood boils and all that kind of stuff, someone's going to get killed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it
Well, yeah.
happens,
Right.
But that's not it's not. People just, if it was, I'm not saying that you take murder off the books, but what I'm saying is if it did happen, it's not as if people would just go around killing everybody. That would.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But at the same token,
and
hold on.
that's how people see it. Like,
Yeah.
like you're gonna open,
You almost dropped your mic. I like it.
like you're gonna open this cage door, and then the bull's gonna come out. They're like, oh, finally, I can fucking kill a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
with that being
There
said,
are people like that, but I
hold
mean,
on.
it's
Why is this
Yeah.
happening?
well, if you
technical difficulties, people. But here's the thing. With that being said, okay, so we were talking about. What are we talking about? Sorry, that
About
totally shook
just-
me up.
minimal government.
Anarchy, libertarian. With that being said, sorry, that just totally threw me for a curveball.
No, it's the
That-
funniest thing ever.
He couldn't hold his mic up. It's pretty funny. With that being said, I don't remember what I was going to say, and I had a really important point to bring up. This is getting
No,
shaky.
no.
This is your definition of shaky.
No. What I just said is that people are afraid of anarchy because they're afraid that if you got rid of the government,
Yes.
then
Okay,
people would
yeah.
be like, well, I'm going to fucking kill my next door neighbor now. I don't
With that
fucking
being
like
said,
him,
think of laws. Like, why are laws laws? Because if you break the law, then there's going to be punishment. With that being said, okay, think of a speed limit. The speed limit down the street next to me is 30 miles per hour. Okay, if it was actually 30 miles, let's just say there was no speed limit, there would be a lot more speeding. That doesn't mean that people don't speed, but there would be a lot more. People would be fucking flying at 90 miles an hour.
Think about this though. How many people?
Which is anarchy.
When you come to
I
a stop
speed all
sign-
the time.
When you come to a stop sign, when I was younger, when I was first learning to drive, the number of people that just just pulled up to a stop sign, looked around, and then just went right through,
Right.
was as many people as stop nowadays. Nobody stops at stop signs anymore. They just don't.
But here's the thing. They pretty much roll through them. But
Yeah, everybody does.
But it's not like if the speed limit is 40 miles an hour, there's suddenly a stop sign. Most of them will not just go 40 miles an hour. I mean, there's at least a stop sign to say you better stop. Even if they don't do it, they're still slowing down. I mean, right?
Sometimes they don't slow down.
I mean, not always, but I bet you if there wasn't a stop sign, no one would ever slow down ever. No one would ever
I don't know
almost.
about
No,
that.
but
I don't know about
people.
that.
What do you mean? No. Here's the thing.
No.
Let's if there was no stop sign and you were outside, let's say you're outside your element, you're not from this town where you knew that there
No,
should be a stop
people-
sign. You would go 40 miles an hour
No,
just like
people,
you're supposed to.
People
You didn't know to stop,
would use
did you?
common sense for their own self-protection. They wouldn't say, "Well, I'm just going to drive as fast as I can," knowing full well that there might be somebody else coming the other way. They're going to slow down. They might not stop, but
Come on.
People do things as like if like
There has to be boundaries.
Let's say-
there has to be
let's
a
say
limit.
Let's say there's someone who I want to kill, all right, and I kill them. Well, there's going to be repercussions
There is.
because their family might try to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, humans are not as dumb as the government thinks they are. They're not going to do stuff that's going to endanger them.
I agree. I mean,
You know,
I'd agree to that at some
mean,
point.
you don't.
yeah, but
I mean, you don't have to baby them, and that's kind of what a lot of people who are against the concept of anarchy think, that we're just going to be completely irrational beings. I mean, we're very rational beings at this point because we follow all these ridiculous rules that sort of make us mind slaves. What do you say? Like at our jobs and a lot of the rules that the government says that we have to follow,
But there
make
has
us
to
like
be-
these drones, and we do it because we don't want to go to jail.
But there has to be guidelines. There has to
there's
be
logic.
I agree. There has to be. I absolutely agree to that. But without any repercussions for the exception of, if you're targeting somebody, speeding going 40 miles an hour and not stopping at all at a stop sign, just blowing right through it. There's a reason why there's a stop sign and why it's against the law to not stop.
And I might disagree a little bit with Mo here. I think that states and cities and counties, you should have way more influence on your local government than the federal government does.
Obviously.
That's absolutely.
That's the way the system was designed.
The whole federal government thing, it's a one-size-fits-all thing, no matter what it is, no matter if it's Kansas or California or Mississippi or Texas or New York, the federal government has this one law and it's supposed to apply to everybody in the country. Well, every state is different, every county is different,
right.
And that's why there needs to be more control by the citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Colorado passing that, they legalized marijuana there, as we all know. And, I mean, or the whole gay marriage thing that they had early on before the federal government said that gay marriage, let the states decide what they want to do.
But it's still government. That's still government. I mean, it's a little bit less government.
It is. Well, and that's where I'm kind of disagreeing with him a little bit.
And luckily,
is that there should be some structure.
Well, no.
But people should have way more control.
I'm not saying there shouldn't be any structure at all. I'm just saying there should be minimal structure, and what structure there is, the most structure should be at the local level. Like we know more about what goes on in Washington D.C. than we do in our own town,
right.
Which. That shouldn't be the case. We should know. Washington D.C. shouldn't be doing anything. As far as I'm concerned, they should just be protecting the border, and
doing the big things,
international relations and that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
But as far as ruling over the citizenry, that's not what the role of the federal government should be.
Totally agree.
It should be up to each state. Should be.
Yeah, and
well, I think part of the problem is let's say the courts. Okay. Yes, I think it's illegal that you should pass. You. I'm trying to think of a pretty decent crime, but it's not super illegal or super bad. I'm trying to think of shoplifting. Okay, let's say you shoplifted. Okay, you went to a store and you stole something. Okay, should there be some repercussions? Would you guys agree?
Well, of course.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you stole some from somebody.
Okay, yeah, it's not yours, so there should be repercussions. Okay, so I do believe in some government,
sure.
And if not a lot of government. With that being said, like the courts. They just because you stole a bag of chips from that grocery store, you might get 3 years in jail. But if you had a different judge, you could have a completely different outcome. I don't like that. You know what I mean? I think that's part of the problem of government is it, blind justice. Well, it's blind justice, but there could be different outcomes for so many different situations. What's his name? Who's the football player? Who murdered O.J. Simpson, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, okay, he was found innocent.
Yeah,
it could be if there was just a different judge and just a different set of circumstances, and he had the same trial.
It
for
was
the most
actually
part.
the jury that decided.
If he just had one different juror, or maybe a whole different set of them, just random, he could have been guilty and he could have rewrote history. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I feel like that's part of the problem as well, is that we have all these different branches of judicial system, and it all goes all the way to the Supreme Court, and only they are the ones that are legally allowed to decide what laws can be changed, or what things are now become laws. You know what I mean? It's scary, man.
And like with the O.J. Simpson trial, which you cited, that was decided by emotion. Here's this black man who they feel was framed by the police, that he killed his wife, and it was
there was a tremendous amount of evidence.
It was very much gut reaction, and that's the problem with government in general, is that you don't have control over everything. People react just like if you're talking about a huge federal government bureaucracy, like the Department of Education, for instance.
Yeah,
you have all these people who are involved in it. Do you think that every one of them is saying, I want to do what's best for the people? They're saying, I want to do what's best for me, or they're going to react on their emotional, response to what's going on.
Well,
so the more people you have involved in deciding what kind of policy is put through, the more issues you're going to have. So you need to make it smaller, and that's where I guess me and Mo probably agree, is that the smaller
states'
the
rights.
government is, county's rights, city's rights. Hey, I mean, take care of your own stuff because at the end of the day, the people who live there know what's going on, what the problems are.
I understand what you mean. Real quick, we did have a missed call. Danny, one of the big fans of our show.
Call him back. What the hell's going on?
I'm gonna call him right now. That's why I'm done. Phone to call with. Oh, let's see if I can figure this one out. Ba-da-ba-ba. So right now we're calling Danny. We just got a missed call from him. Hopefully this works. All right. Oh, I got to turn off the music. Da-da-da. Hey, guys, if you're listening, thank you, guys. Please comment. We greatly appreciate it. What the hell is this? Buff, small, stocky dude. What the hell is that?
Oh my God, that's
I have no idea who this is. Okay.
Can we talk about crystal meth and gay sex?
We are not going to talk about crystal meth and gay sex yet.
Why don't we ask Danny?
No, let's ask him. Is he for big government or not big government? He's probably going to bring up a topic that we talked about like 2 hours ago.
Well,
but
most people are going to say,
Hello.
Hello, Danny. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, you are live on air at Going Dutch Radio Network. What do you got to say? Why'd you call?
I don't know. Why not?
Ooh, I like it. He just wants to talk with us. I like it. Hey, Danny. Okay, so right now we are talking about big government, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking.
Sure, yeah.
So, Danny, what would you consider yourself, a Republican, Democrat, or what? What? I like how he's listening.
Is this like way delayed?
You need to turn off your TV, whatever you're listening to, because that's going to be lagged. So you just need to listen to the voice call.
Hold on.
That's funny. All right, guys, we're listening to. We're talking to Danny over the phone. He did call in, a fan of the show. Can you hear me? Is it better?
Yes, I can hear you. It's way delayed.
Well, here's the thing, Danny. You got to make sure that you turn off whatever you were just listening to us and just talk to us on your phone. That's the only way it's going to work.
Hold on.
All right. This is very interesting. This is a very interesting development. I almost want to play some background music.
TV's on.
All right. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, Danny. We are talking about big government, not big government. Are you Republican or Democrat?
Republican.
Why? What is it about Republican? What makes you a Republican?
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea.
Ooh, that's interesting. Do you believe
I
in?
don't like the government at all.
Okay.
They all suck. Both of them suck.
Both of them. Okay. Let me ask you this: are you for big government or small government? Like, do you like?
Small.
Oh, you like it tiny. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Smart man.
Do you
Smart
like-
The
man.
government's oversized.
Okay, Danny, do you like Trump as president? Do you think he's doing more good than bad, or more bad than good?
I think more good and bad.
You think so? All right.
Yep.
It's interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
See, our listeners are very smart, and they understand what our country needs. Is we need a smaller government. Come on.
I like
Yep.
it.
Yep.
I like it a lot. Danny, do you have any comments or thoughts? Did you watch the show before we went on commercial break?
I know you thought it was creepy before, but I like seeing everybody at one time with the camera.
Oh, see, now
Not
see,
to switch over.
our listener who's calling in right now is Danny. He doesn't like the camera views. He doesn't enjoy it. But it's a new setup, so things
I
happen.
kind of
I like
I
it.
kind of like the old school way.
I do too, but I like
Yeah.
how it's a little bit closer up to us. That's just me. Yeah.
I like the old way.
Oh.
Yeah, there's something charming about that old way of looking at the kind of the overhead view.
You
of
were
it.
so nostalgic. You know that, Blue?
Oh, I
All right,
mean-
Danny, do you have any final thoughts before we let you go?
No,
Where's,
let the man
Candy
talk.
at? I miss him.
Oh, where's Candy? He got so drunk before the show that he got so intoxicated that he pretty much passed out and he had a call ride. He literally couldn't hardly talk.
Really?
He didn't even drink that much.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you were out with him at the time, and you're
I was
pretty
out
much
with him.
sober. I mean, for the most part. I mean, how many drinks did Candy have, Blue?
I think what do you say, like 10 drinks? But I mean that's that's not the most.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
that anybody's ever had.
All right, Danny, do you have any final thoughts before we let you go?
We watch you guys' show, and you guys do pretty good. And I believe in Jesus Christ for that other guy.
Oh,
All right.
thank you, Danny.
That's good.
Faithful listener to the show. Please call us back next podcast. All right.
See ya.
All right.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Danny. Loyal listener.
Thank
Might not have been the best content ever. It's hard talking to people on the phone, no matter who it is. It's just
Yeah.
difficult. It's not easy. So, but we really thank him calling in on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We
Totally.
really appreciate it. And God bless America.
What if we had callers like all the time? Like, I mean, you wouldn't be able to get all the callers. You'd have to,
Yeah, it'd be
stop
pretty
the
crazy.
show every time.
All right, so if anybody's watching, that was Danny who called in. All right, let's keep on going. You want to talk about flat Earth? Let's flat it.
We can talk about anything.
All right, so are you sure you guys ready? All right,
Let's get it over with.
let's do it. All right, flat Earth people. If you have any comments while we're talking about this, because I'm not gonna interrupt and start showcasing the show. This is the last time I say this. Going Dutch Radio Network, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, live 8 p.m. every Saturday night. Moe Zura is in the house with us, guest appearing. Mo, it's about to get real, okay?
Sure.
It's about to get really real.
Okay.
Let's do it. Flat Earth.
Okay.
Do you believe the Earth is flat?
Well,
Or do you know the Earth is flat instead of round?
I would say that the evidence is, scientifically speaking, the evidence is that it is not a ball.
Okay.
We'll put it that way.
Blue, what do you think? Do you think the Earth is flat, or do you think it is round? If you just had a guess, going with your gut, do you think it's round, or do you think it's flat?
Well, A, I don't really care, but B, if I had to pick, I guess I go with round because that's what I was raised to believe. But me and Mo here were having a very interesting conversation earlier about, whenever the Soviet Union was still alive and well, how potentially this idea of the faking of the Apollo moon landing might have helped us, which might go into your whole theory of there being a flat Earth.
Sure.
Do you mind repeating what we talked about?
Let's hear it.
Trying to recall how it went because
So all right. So
we were talking about escalating from Sputnik to.
So here is my first question though: is can you go? So this whole idea that there's a moon that revolves around the Earth, right?
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
The traditional view is that the moon is a satellite of the Earth.
I'm not much of
Yes,
a
it is a satellite. So
astronomical
the
person.
reason why, so the Earth, we are spinning and we are revolving around the sun.
Correct.
And
That's what they. Yeah,
the Earth is big enough to where we have a small rock, which is actually a really big rock called the moon, that revolves and spins ever so perfectly around the Earth at the same time.
Yeah.
It's our satellite. With that being said, and people, I want comments. Please comment. With that being said,
Sure.
do you think it's ironic? And I'm going to get away a little bit from flat Earth because
Okay.
then we're going to hit it real hard. Did you know this, Blue, that the Earth, we are rotating on an axis, supposedly. And so is the moon. The moon is spinning. Do you know that the moon is spinning? But you have been taught your whole life that you only see one side of the moon. You only see one half of the side of the moon for your whole life.
The dark side
You
you
have
don't
never
see.
seen the dark side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. With
Yeah.
that being said,
Yeah.
do you know why you don't see the dark side? Do you understand the math and the logistics around it and why we don't see the other half?
Tell me.
Scientifically speaking,
Tell me.
the reason being is this is really interesting. So the way, actually, Mo, can you explain this? I can totally explain it, but I feel like why is it that we only see half of the moon? Why does most of the population think that we only see one half of the moon 24/7 and we've never seen the dark side?
Okay, so there's this is the
Make sure to talk in the mic. Sorry.
Oh, sure. This is the traditional view. So you have the we'll just take the moon and say this is the moon.
Right.
According to the traditional view, the moon spins at such a rate that as it goes around the Earth, that the same side of the moon is always facing the Earth.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Precisely.
That's all it is.
Now also the when you look at the moon and the sun, they appear to be the same size.
Perfectly to the millimeter. It is.
They look exactly the same size. And also the traditional view is that the moon is such and such a size. It's I think it's 400 is the number.
It is
400
yeah.
times
Yeah.
smaller than the sun. But the sun is 400 times farther away.
Yes.
So there's all these coincidences.
So the sun just happens to be massive. Okay, it happens to be and it happens to be 90 million miles away, right, Blue?
93 million miles away.
Yeah, 93 million miles away. The moon is 200 and something thousand miles away. You understand this?
I mean, can you be sure of that?
No,
I mean,
listen,
you're quoting the same scientists who are saying the Earth is round.
I know. Listen to me.
That's what we're saying.
I'm trying to give you a synopsis. People
going with their claims.
We're trying to get into flat Earth. We're talking about conspiracy bunking and whatnot. So I'm just trying to give a synopsis for everybody.
Okay.
So did you know that we are from distance to the moon? I think it's 400 moons away. I don't know if you know that or not. It's a fact. Like
are we?
I don't know how many moons away it is.
We are scientifically. If you lined up how big the moon is, okay, think about the circumference of the moon or the radius of the moon, and you lined up perfectly 400 moons starting from Earth to where the moon is.
Yeah.
It's exactly 400 moons away.
Okay.
Did you know that if you took the distance from Earth to the moon, which is about 250,000 miles roughly, give or take,
somewhere around there, yeah,
and you took that, the distance between Earth and the moon, and you took that distance and times it by 400, it happens to be the exact distance to the sun.
Okay.
To the millimeter. It really is. It's scary, the average. So that's why, supposedly, scientifically speaking, what everyone thinks, that's why the moon and the sun look exactly the same. Now, obviously, the moon does look really big during a full moon and whenever it's trying to start to come up from the horizon and whatnot, and there's supposed to be scientific reason behind that. But whenever it's the moon is straight up in the air, high noon, so to speak, that's how it looks. It's exactly the same size as the sun. That's why during a total eclipse, that's why when the moon goes in front of the sun, literally the sun goes black. It completely goes to nighttime. Don't you think that's a little bit ironic, or do you think that just happens to be a perfect system that just happens to be? I mean, you know what the chance of that is? It's so astronomically insane. It's in the billions, if not trillions, if you think about it.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, but I mean, and I'm just going to be on repeat the whole time that you guys are talking about this, but
it's okay.
Once again, like why would this be something that the scientists collaborate on to deceive us? Like, I don't understand
Mo, the
whole purpose of it.
So, Mo, what do me and you have talked about this extensively. Well, these scientists, whether they are
the scientists who you believe with climate change, all the,
right.
all. So you believe these things, but then when it comes to the Earth being round or flat,
I don't know.
You're like, well, I don't know.
I'm not 100% positive.
But when it comes to everything else, you're like, well, science is the leading.
With that being said, with the scientists stating that we are a round Earth and not flat, and that we have been to the moon, and here's the reason why there's total eclipses. What is your take on that? And what do you think in your head every time you hear that? I mean, do you think these scientists are lying, or do you think are they not getting enough information to really know the truth to you? Because you think the Earth is flat, and you think a lot of there's a lot of other realms that are absolute lies. So why do you think that? That's what I really want to know. I'm not trying to target you. I want to hear your opinion. That's why I really want you to.
I mean, the whys and all that stuff is hard to explain because you would have to. You would have to get into their minds, which is impossible. But I mean, I go to the Bible a lot, and in the first chapter of Romans, it does say that the rulers of the earth, the rulers of the world, know the truth of the world and hide it from the rest of the world.
Okay.
So the thing is that it's in man's nature to run away from God and to be antagonistic towards God, and people do not want to be held accountable for their lives. That's why you get all these, this whole let it all hang out kind of thing going on nowadays,
right?
Because people just don't want to be held accountable for anything, and so the thing is that if you have this, accident of a universe where everything's an accident.
What a lot of people believe in is the Big Bang.
Sure. So you say the Big Bang, and then everything's evolution, and everything's all a series of accidents.
Right.
And then there's no reason to be accountable for anything. I mean, the thing is that if the Earth is flat and there's a firmament over the Earth and it's a closed system,
right?
It would be impossible for that system to have come about as as a result of chance. It would have to be it's a designed system.
So why? So you believe that the Earth is flat because of?
I don't believe it's flat because of that. I just
Okay,
think,
that's what I was curious about. No, that's what I wanna know.
I think it was designed
so,
that way.
Okay.
Do you believe you can penetrate the firmament?
No, you
Wait,
can't.
hold on, real quick. The firmament is. I want to
the
reiterate.
sky.
The firmament.
Sky.
So everybody knows.
What about when you're on a plane, though?
The firmament is imagine people. He believes it's a flat Earth. So imagine you're in a globe. You
Like
shake
a
up
snow globe,
the
yeah.
snow
There
globe,
you
right?
go. Yeah.
And there's a globe, and you can't go past that glass. You're inside
Yeah.
the globe.
Sure.
That's the firmament that we're talking about. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, but I mean, like you've been in a plane before. The plane is flying, and you have clouds and everything. But
Sure.
that's not, by your definition, penetrating.
Yeah, that's
the
not high.
firmament,
Yeah, an airplane
you're
doesn't
not
fly
high
high enough to hit that. So
I would like to believe.
So
that,
how high do you
definitely.
think this ceiling or this glass ceiling in this flat Earth is?
see, and that's a
roughly.
term. See,
know
that's a term that people use. The glass ceiling. These terms aren't accidental. A lot of this stuff comes from the Bible. The handwritings on the wall, that kind of stuff.
I mean, is there supposed to be a theory? Do you have a theory of how high it is, or is there? Will we never know?
There's,
you know what I mean? That's what I want to know. What you
if
think?
you go online and look at, there's people that will say how high they think it is and stuff like that. So
I mean, is there a synopsis of what flat earthers believe if there is a firmament of how high it is? I mean, are we talking? 70,000 feet or 1 million feet?
Most of what I've heard, it's around the 100,000 foot mark, something like that.
Are most
100,000 feet,
flat
okay.
earthers religious? Is this based out of
Not
any
all are,
particular
yeah,
belief
which is,
system?
Yeah, not all are religious. That's what's pretty remarkable about it. When you get into studying different people,
I mean,
or looking at different people that put up information on it and stuff like that.
Right. And I mean, here's the thing. It's a very interesting topic, and I know a lot of people, will like to make fun of both sides. Like people who are flat earthers or flat earth believers, like they wholeheartedly. I mean, they're hardcore believers. Normally, it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe it is. No, either you believe it is or it's not.
Yeah, they're like a society. But I did hear that they did a test on this. I think it might have been the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about whenever you see a ship sail out, that
The curvature of the Earth,
it disappears.
it disappears. So
Eventually.
so what Blue is talking about and right now, people are talking about flat Earth. So in believing it or not believing it, you're talking about the curvature of the Earth.
Danny, I think, brought it up on one of our previous podcasts.
So mathematically speaking, for the radius of the Earth right now is 25,000 miles. If you perfectly start at point A and try to go back around.
Sure.
The radius, I forgot what it is. I think it's 8,000 miles. The radius going from point A through point B. If you could dig through Earth.
I think it's the diameter is like 87.
Can you believe that, though?
Miles or something.
I know. But with that being said, since the Earth is always curving. Well, people say the Earth is so big, you would never be able to see the curve with your own eyes, right?
No, there's a mathematical formula for it.
There is a mathematical formula. It is roughly 9 feet. I think it is.
What it is it's 8 inches per mile squared.
There it is. So what that means is for every mile, let's just say you were in the desert, and it's supposed to be perfectly flat for hundreds of miles. I mean, there's parts like New Mexico that are supposed to be absolutely perfectly flat. With the curvature of the Earth, no matter what. With the curvature of the Earth, every mile, the Earth should be going down.
What you do
should be descending 8 inches, right?
It's 8 inches per mile squared. You square the mile. So here's what you do. But
hold on, real quick. So I just want to explain to listeners. What we're trying to say, and if I'm not standing corrected, the Earth is so round and so globe, and people don't understand that if you're in a perfectly flat surface or supposed perfectly flat surface for 200 miles, realistically speaking, the Earth is curving down from where your point is 8 inches every single mile. So
it's more than that, though.
I don't think it is
because it's 8 inches because you have to square the mile.
So even if it's flat, it's still curving, is what you're saying.
Well, because it's a curved surface.
The Earth is perfectly curved, so no matter what, even if you have a perfectly flat surface, after so much of a distance.
Based on
scientific, you should be able to physically see.
Curves.
Just like if you're starting from the beach, if you're standing at a beach and you're looking at a ship, you can see out 12, 14 miles, and all of a sudden you can only see half of the ship. that is supposed to be because of the curvature of the Earth.
That's the claim. But so how it goes is 8 inches per mile squared. So the first mile, if you're at point A and we'll take a 6-foot person, right? So that person walks out a mile, and say you're on a plane. That person is going to be 8 inches down or around over the curve from where you are.
Right.
If they go out 2 miles, then you square the 2 for 2 miles. So that's 4. So then it's 4 times 8 inches. That's 32.
Oh, okay.
So at 2 miles, they're 32 inches over the curve. Okay? Then when you go to 3 miles, you square 3, which is 9, and then you multiply that by 8 inches, and then that becomes 72 inches. So if you have a friend and you're standing together, and that friend walks 3 miles away from you, and you're on a desert plain, say the Bonneville Salt Flats or something, if they're 3 miles away from you and they're 6 feet tall, you should not be able to see them
because the Earth
they're over the
because
curve
the round
of the
globe is 72 inches. But is that proven? Or is that
no? You can. That's the thing. Is for example, where I work, I can the Gateway Arch is 630 feet high.
Correct.
It's 18 miles away from where I work, and I've checked the
elevation.
Elevation is almost identical.
Right.
And from where I am, I should only be able to see the top third of the arch, but I can see the entire arch, and I can see the courthouse and the cathedral down there.
And because
which would be impossible if it was that distance over the curve. It would be over the curve. See, I wouldn't be able to see the courthouse at all.
I know. I've always heard that it was 8 inches for every single mile. Roughly.
No, it's squared. You square the mile.
I don't know why would it be squared though? It doesn't make any sense.
Because it's a geometrical thing with dealing with a sphere. So the geometry of a sphere.
Why?
Well, hold on, bro.
No. Is there anybody who believes? Because you got the flat earthers and people who have the round earthers. There's somebody in between where it's a little bit flat
there's
and then
all
it's a little bit of curve.
You know.
Like it's kind of like
you mean it's
weird,
a flat Earth, but it has hills and mountains like we do.
Yeah, kind of like it's like flat, and then all of a sudden there's a roundness to it. Like it's kind of amorphous, sort of.
You mean like a hollow Earth, or are you talking about like a whole different what's going on?
Just kind of like a weird shape. It's like it's straight, then it kind of curves.
Concave Earth and all that kind of
so Moe believes in the flat Earth, and I actually do kind of theorize a little bit, not 100%, but there's a little snippet in my mind that I really think that flat Earth it might be actually true. Why am I out of my mind? Why?
Well, because no.
Real quick,
go ahead.
Just real quick. You are the number one person, without a doubt. I mean, you just said it like a little bit ago, that doesn't trust scientists and the government stating like climate change and whatnot. So why do you trust the scientists stating to you and telling you that the Earth is in fact round? Why this, but not climate change?
No, you guys are quoting scientists right now to back up your argument.
I'm not quoting any scientists.
No, I mean you guys are talking about you're like, well, the measurement of the Earth is like this according to the scientists, so that means that since I can see this point from this distance, that
what I'm saying is that the traditional view is that the Earth is 25,000 miles in circumference.
Correct. Yeah.
At that, if you approach this scientifically and say, okay,
you can't
the geometry of that would be that the curve of that type of a sphere would be 8 inches per mile squared, and when you real life test it, you wouldn't be able to see.
But that's sort of the problem with this whole argument, is that you're using science to argue against what is, I would assume, like one of the cornerstones of scientific, research.
Science is
the Earth is round was one of the big scientific breakthroughs.
Yeah, but science is all about observation and testing and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, real quick. I don't mean to break this up, but
sure.
Okay. Once again, we're talking about flat Earth. He believes in it. I kind of would like to believe in it, and you think that the Earth is round, which is fucking ridiculous. With that being said, there's one thing I want to bring up. I want to show the audience. Let me put my glasses on because I can't see shit. I want to show what is supposed to be the flat Earth map, or what a lot of flat Earthers believe is the true map And here's the thing. Well, there's no globe. We think of that globe that either you could bounce in your hand. They always make an inflatable, or the globe that you could perfectly spin on its axis. It's cool.
No. But here's my one question though.
What's that?
If you believe that the Earth is flat, that they're lying about all this, how do you even know you're on Earth? How do you know that Earth is Earth? Because you're assuming that what you've been told. You're talking about the supposed satellite images of Earth.
Don't even get me started with simulation theory.
Are we even
on
Earth?
Don't even get me started because I love it.
Are we on a planet?
I actually believe
Where the hell are we at?
I hate to break this out. I actually truly believe that we're in a simulation. I know. You think that's crazy. But
being
honest.
You guys are so questioning, scientific theory here that.
Well, no,
are we on an actual planet? Because you're assuming we're on a planet to even say if it's round or flat.
Let me show this real quick. Right now, we're talking about flat Earth, and here is the supposed flat Earth map. Now, can you explain why there is this, not the white around, obviously the back page, but Mo, what is this white? How is the flat Earth map?
Well, this is sort of they call this the azimuthal equidistant map. Now, it's not necessarily the way the Earth looks.
So let me ask you this. So right here is supposed to be North America, correct? Or sorry, North Pole. This white cap.
The pole.
So what is this white that they're showing is supposed to be all around it?
That would be Antarctica, which
is the South Pole. So
not necessarily the South Pole, but that's what goes. That's the border. Of the that's why you can't go off the edge of the Earth.
So essentially, flat Earth to a lot of flat earthers, and guys, right now we're looking at the map of what's the supposed flat Earth to a lot of flat earthers, is that the globe is blown out. So I'm gonna try. This is so hard to explain. Hold on.
Because it's insanity.
No, it's not insanity. So this supposed flat Earth map, it blows out in a circle. So it's a globe. If you open up the globe and you lay it all out, the South Pole is now the outer edge.
The outer edge of the Earth.
Can you try to explain what I just said, but in more simpler terms? 'Cause I'm sure you probably can.
Since there's only one pole, there's no South Pole. There would be an outer rim of the Earth, so to speak.
Right.
Which is Antarctica.
So if you cut the globe and you perfectly laid it out, starting from the top stays and everything. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? Do you understand?
Well, that's what it would.
It rips out, and now the South Pole or Antarctica area is now all in the outer rim. And you believe, I don't know if you believe mostly in that map, but the map that we are looking at right now, you believe that is Antarctica.
That's a sort of a best
representation
with what
if it was round,
with
Antarctica
what
would
we
just be a
can,
continent at the bottom.
So wouldn't people be able to cross past Antarctica? That rim of ice that we can see? Why?
What do you mean go across? What do you mean?
Can we go past Antarctica and find out that it's flat, or that it is flat? Why can't we? That's why I'm asking you.
Well, that's something that you. What's the guy's name? I think his name's Robert Byrd or something like that. He did interviews in the 50s.
Yeah.
And he was on just regular network television, and he talked about exploring Antarctica.
Who is he? Was he a
he was just I forget what service he was in, but he led, I think, 3 expeditions to Antarctica.
So he worked for the government.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in the military.
Think a senator.
So what about him? So he was in the 50s.
I think it's Robert Byrd, or I'm probably getting his name wrong.
He sounds familiar, right?
Robert Byrd is maybe the. What's his?
I think he was Hillary.
I can look him up. So go on though. Yeah. So what about him? So what did he do?
He was just in. He was. I forget what branch he was in. But he led 3 expeditions to. It's not Robert Byrd, and it would be BYRD.
Oh, sorry.
I think he was a senator.
Right now, guys, we're talking about flat Earth, and you state that there's this guy in the armed services.
And Byrd, I think, is Robert. I think is the.
He was a
senator. So it's not. And
Robert.
He
was one of Hillary
Clinton's. It's not Robert. It's I can't think of his name.
No, he was in the KKK, and he was actually.
That's Robert Byrd.
It was
I thought I was saying it wrong, but I can't remember.
Okay. Let's just
if you typed in Byrd in Antarctica, you'd get the right one.
BYRD Ant. Okay. Right now, guys, we're
Richard,
looking up
Richard Byrd.
Moe over here on the right. He believes that the Earth is flat, and we are debunking it /
Yeah, Admiral
believing
Richard
it.
Byrd. Yeah.
Admiral Richard Byrd, UFO secret base in his Antarctica expedition. So once again, Robert Byrd.
If you look, Richard Byrd.
Sorry, Richard Byrd. He in the 1950s was in the armed services, and he led expeditions
to Antarctica
via government to Antarctica. And
Sure.
what happened?
After his expeditions, the world sort of got together, you know, the UN and all that sort of thing, and said Antarctica is basically off limits. You can't go there.
So right now,
He's right about that.
there is a treaty
There's a treaty
through
where
pretty much every single country has to agree that they cannot fly over they can only fly into Antarctica for so many
you can
miles
only
or so.
go. Yeah, you can only go certain places in Antarctica,
Right.
and it's very.
And that is a fact. That
Yeah, oh, yeah.
that is
That's
a true
true.
treaty that
That's
you
true.
cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the exception, if you're trying to be scientific and you have to plead to this, whoever is in charge of this treaty, stating like, this is why I want to go there. So do you
It's very
believe?
controlled. Yeah.
You think the outer rim of the entire world is Antarctica or the South Pole? With that being said, has anybody reached that?
Well, there's I don't like getting into speculation, but there's people that speculate that there have been people that reached the outer rim of the
firmament,
firmament
of the globe,
where the edge of the firmament would touch the earth. Yeah.
So why? Let me ask you this. Let's just say it is a flat Earth.
Sure.
There is no doubt there is, right? It is. It's a flat Earth. We just found out. Big news.
Mm-hmm.
But before finding out, before it was breaking news and somehow it got out, if it actually is true, why are people hiding that the Earth is flat? What is the reason?
Well, like I was saying, it goes to accountability, because it'd be a slam dunk that it's a created system, and then there would automatically be accountability to God, because you would have to know that there's a creator.
So is God hiding the flat
See,
Earth?
and
Or are you saying,
yeah.
or what? I'm saying, what do you think? I'm just curious. So do you think God's hiding the flat Earth, or do you think people are hiding the truth?
No, I mean the whole
these
the
higher ups,
and that's the thing is that
Trump,
the whole
Hillary.
Yeah, that's the thing is that the whole system is controlled by God, anyways, and
But
if he wanted everybody to know that the Earth is the way it is, then
it would happen.
Then we would know it. Yeah, it would.
Well,
just
why
happen,
not just
yeah.
ban the Bible?
So you
then?
think it's God that wants us to believe that the Earth is round? That's what
No,
you're
not
trying to say.
necessarily. No, I think that he just has the men that run the world. The physical world.
So, with that being said, the Earth is flat. No one in the world has definitive proof. There hasn't been breaking news on it, which would be the best news ever. That'd be the biggest. You would make.
It's just
trillions
something
of
that's
it.
it's just something that's going to be a fringe thing probably for a while, and it will probably go away.
It has been since the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
With that being said, who created that treaty and why? It's not God, right? I
No,
mean, even if that God put something in somebody's mind to do it,
Sure.
why do you think those people in high government are in their minds? Why though? Why hide flat Earth? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why?
It's kind of like Dr. Zaius in Planet of the Apes. He was the top scientist and also the defender of the faith.
Is it that much greener on the other side type of situation? Like maybe it's so much better outside.
Well, I mean,
of
Richard
this flat-
Byrd said that there was oil fields vast enough to run the United States for like 1,000 years or something like that. Yeah, I mean, he talked about stuff like that. I mean, you'll just have
Right.
to watch.
No, I
like I say, I mean, I don't.
And
I don't claim to cling to any sort of thing like that, but I'm just saying if you watch what people say about it,
So, what do you think is past flat Earth ends? For the most part, most flat Earthers believe that the Earth ends kind of past Antarctica or a certain point of this ice or this ice block.
Sure.
What's supposed to be after that? Is it more land? Are you just supposed to fall off the Earth?
Who knows? I mean,
you have no theory,
you
or
wouldn't fall off of it. I mean, it's
What do you mean? It's flat.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
Wait,
the
something
dome
ends.
that comes down. And
Are
then
we-
I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, I
Are
totally
we
forgot.
two-dimensional then? If it's flat, is there another dimension to it? I mean, how flat are we? Are we two-dimensional? Are we three-dimensional?
Oh no, we're three-dimensional, obviously.
But I mean, if you're talking about flat, like there's no, it's like a.
Well, I mean, there's
mean,
mountains.
Yeah,
and
there's still
valleys
mountains and hills that no matter what is.
What
not
about the
flat.
planet-
I don't care if you believe in a globe or not. That's still.
It's just we live on a plane.
What
not
about
a-
the
not a-
planet itself, though?
Yeah, we live on a plane,
So
not a
Is
not
the
a ball.
planet two-dimensional
So-
and we're three-dimensional on top of the planet?
Well, that, dude, are you doing drugs?
Are you guys doing drugs?
No,
You're talking about the planet being flat.
No, it's a plane.
Any comments, people? Please
It's a
let us
plane.
know. Okay,
So are we
once
floating
again,
in space?
Matt-
What are we doing?
Mo believes that for the most part, the Earth is flat, and that Antarctica, the South Pole, is blown out, and the ice is the
It's
outer
around
edge,
us, okay, I
and you
get it,
can't go
yeah.
past this certain area because it's so freezing cold, -60 degrees. And there's a treaty that was made. This is a fact in 1950, stating that you cannot fly past Antarctica over so many miles, meaning you can't go past that. Why? I don't know. Why would they suddenly do that? Because of nature reasons. There's nothing living there. Why would they do that for nature? Which is pretty interesting. I'm trying to give a quick
Probably
synopsis.
something to do
I'm
with
sorry.
Hitler.
Sure.
I mean,
With that being said, Mo and a lot of others believe not only is it flat Earth, but there is a globe around all of us. You're inside the snowflake globe, and you hit a wall.
a globe. It sounds round to me.
Well,
A dome is what he meant.
Sorry,
like a half.
I mean, we're talking about flat Earth here. We're talking about domes now. I mean, look. All right. So, please let me see what you guys are seeing.
Sure.
So
he's the perfect person to talk to
So
because he's very
this-
logical. That's
all
why
right.
I really want to talk about this.
no, it's fine. But okay, so the Earth is flat.
Sure.
So it's so it's just this two-dimensional plane that we're on.
Like say here, we got this
fuck?
table, right? And then this would be the pole in the middle, and then everything radiates out from that. So then Antarctica goes around the edge.
Okay.
So then you have North America and South America down that way. Africa's over here, and then you got Europe and Asia.
So it's
and
just
then
a
Australia's
flat.
out
So
that
it's
way.
perfectly flat, and we're growing off of it.
And then there's the mountains and valleys and rivers and oceans and all that stuff.
What is around us then?
So
I mean,
we-
around. Okay, so then
what-
there's the
so-
firmament
real quick,
that comes
real quick.
up above us.
So what's past? You're asking what is past the flat?
Like
what is
on the other
past
side
Earth
of the-
if it's flat?
yeah.
There's got to be an edge. So what's past that? That's what he's curious of.
Yeah, what's on the other side of the firmament is heaven.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, where
Okay.
the stars are and all that.
So let me ask you this:
Yeah.
You think that
Sorry.
you think the Earth is flat? You think there's a firmament, or we're in a dome, so to speak.
Sure.
With that being said, is the moon a rock, or do you think
No,
that
the moon's a light. It's just a light.
So you don't believe the moon is mostly round? You don't think the moon is the moon, so to speak? It's not a round spherical thing that's 1/6 the size of the Earth.
Correct.
You
Yeah, it's
th-
just a light in the sky.
So you think it's just a projection? You think it's?
I don't know about a projection. I
Or-
really don't
sorry.
know. I don't have enough information.
You do not think it's a round thing that is like thousands of miles wide that is revolving and rotating around the Earth.
Correct.
You think it's literally a light that's
I think
shining,
it's a light in the
shining
sky.
on Earth, and it's an image, so to speak.
Yeah.
How? Okay.
Whatever. It's a light in the sky, and it's a cooling light, whereas the sun gives off heat. We know that.
Wait, whoa.
The moon gives off a cool light.
With that being said,
Yeah.
you're getting to Kelvin here. I like it. With that being said, do you actually think the real sun? So you believe the moon is just a light or a? I know I can't quote this. You believe that the moon that revolves around the Earth, since you believe in flat Earth, you feel like the moon is actually not a cold, really cold rock that we landed on a long time ago in the 1960s. You believe that it is a image, so to speak. With that being said, do you think that the sun is an image, or do you think it actually is a heat source?
Well, it is. There's heat. I mean, the sun, when it's out, there's heat that comes off the sun.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you believe in the sun, but you don't believe in the Earth, or the you don't believe that the moon is the moon, but you believe the sun is it's millions upon millions of miles wide, and it's
No, it's not that big.
so whoa. How? Okay, so mostly the
Sure.
synopsis of scientists believe that they're from the
Yeah,
distance,
but they think the sun is a long ways away. And
93
it's
million miles away
and
from
it's
Earth.
enormous.
Okay, yes.
But on the flat Earth paradigm, the sun is much smaller and closer.
So spatially, the sun would have to be within the confines of the globe that you're talking
Correct.
about.
It's in the it's
So
within
it's not.
it's in the
so
fir-
it is- so
it's
it's
in the
this
firmament.
flat. So it isn't this flat thing, and then somehow there's a sun
Yeah, the sun is in the
around
firmament.
it.
So whoa,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
So how far, if you had to guess? I know How far do you think this fake image that is the moon is from Earth?
It's hard to say.
Roughly. I mean, we think it's about 200-something thousand miles away. What do you think roughly? I mean,
yeah,
it
see,
could
I don't
be
have
way
enough
off.
data. I mean, there's all sorts of people that speculate on
10 miles less than 250,000, or like
No, there's speculation that it's thousands of miles away or just up in the firmament. I mean, there's all sorts of theories, but I don't have enough information to say anyway how far away it is.
You stated earlier that you think that the firmament, this dome that we're inside of of this flat Earth, you believe that it's it's only hundreds of thousands of miles at the most tall. So that's the furthest reach.
Hundreds of thousands of feet.
Only hundreds of thousands of feet.
Yeah.
Tall. So that must mean that you believe that the moon has to be inside that in order for us to see it, and it's just a light emitting.
Sure, and I think it has to
image.
do with optics and that kind of stuff, and lenses.
And you believe the sun is only that distance too. You don't think it's 93 million miles away. You only think it's a couple thousand.
Yeah, like the biggest, as far as people that study all the optics and that kind of thing of flat Earth, they say the sun and the moon are about like 32 miles across or something like that.
Can you say that one more time? Can you say it one more time?
I'm saying that the people that study the optics and all that stuff.
Of what they believe is flat Earth.
Sure.
Go on.
Yeah, going on with what their studies of all this stuff, and I don't get into that much of it.
But keep on going. I wonder, what did you say that
they say that sun and the moon are 32 miles across, about roughly, give or take,
and not millions or hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. That's what they say. I don't speculate either way. I don't know. I just go by what my observations are, like with the Gateway Arch and mountains I've been up and things that I can see and make observations myself. So,
but here's my question:
Sure.
is that do you believe if the Earth is flat?
Sure.
And you're thinking that they're making it up that it's round.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that roundness actually exists? The concept of roundness.
Three-dimensional?
Well, yeah, I mean, like this.
Yes.
This bottle is round.
But how do you know that?
Around,
Well, yeah, but
because here's the thing: he didn't get to cross past Antarctica to find out that he got to hit the dome.
Yeah.
But I mean, he can touch that Powerade and prove that it is partially round, or that it is what it is.
This whole thing, and I mean, this is like you were saying earlier about it, life experiences and stuff like that. I mean, this all goes to life experiences. Like when I went to Japan, I flew from St. Louis to Los Angeles, and then when we flew from Los Angeles to Tokyo, the pilot tells us everywhere where we're going.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So we go up the coast of California, and then we go over Alaska, and then down the coast of Russia. And if you looked at, if you took the globe and flew from L.A. to Tokyo, you'd go right across the Pacific Ocean would be the quickest way to go.
Okay.
And most fuel efficient way to go. But then, like, if you bring up that map again and you go, okay, Los Angeles to Tokyo, and then you take a straight line, you'll go right over Alaska, like I was saying, like the pilot said we did.
But you guys just got done saying that you can't necessarily, get your information from what you see spatially. That that it's more about something else. That your senses, your sight, because whenever I look up in the sky, it actually looks like it is kind of like a dome. But
what does?
But the sky looks like a dome.
Sky?
I mean, it literally looks like that there's a curvature in the sky. But you're saying you can't go by that sense, the sense of sight, to determine whether something is round or not. How can you say that's the same thing about whether anything's curved?
I'm not trying to help your argument, but I mean, what he believes that self-observation will tell you. He said with his own eyes he can tell from here to the arch that it isn't descending 8 inches every 8 inches squared every single mile. He's saying it is through self-observation, and people have found out that flat Earth is actually flat Earth, and they're trying to hide that.
But there's no, I mean, who has come forward and said that they discovered flat Earth though? Besides,
there's all kinds of pilots,
people who are theorizing it.
There's lots of pilots that talk about flat Earth, because
it is true that pilots on a plane. I mean, I'm 99% sure this is just a fact that when they are back in the day, back in the whenever they're flying without GPSs and electronics, when they would have to look at a map and find out where they are, manually, they used a flat Earth map. Yeah. Literally, they you had to. You don't use a globe map. They didn't have a fucking globe, and they weren't looking at a globe where they're flying in the sky. They used a flat Earth map, and it works perfectly, right? So,
but a globe
I've been to
works as
flight
well.
school and all that stuff, and when you fly on a horizon, and you just pretty much just you go straight. You don't follow the curve of the Earth as you're flying in an airplane.
So that's pretty interesting. With that being said, ooh, you just brought up a really good thing. So if the Earth is round, which it's supposed to be for most people, that means he's trying to say if you stayed true at a perfect elevation, not elevation to where you are from the ground, but you're exactly at 35,000 feet from, you just never went down or up. You would essentially, if the Earth was round,
It's spinning though.
You would leave.
Yeah, but here's something.
It's
to
spinning,
consider.
but it's not moving.
Here's something to consider. See, they say that
Well, you're moving. So
I'm moving.
So the spinning of the Earth would.
Yeah, but check this out. So the Earth spins like, here's the sun, right? And the Earth is spinning like this here, right? So if you're here and the Earth is spinning, and you're flying this way, right? Or if you're flying this way and the Earth's spinning away from you, right? Then the way that flight patterns are, and the Earth is spinning this way. If you're flying this way, it should be much quicker to fly from here to here than it is to fly from here to here. But if you look at flight times, going from New York to L.A. is like 6 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. But if you go from L.A. to New York, going with the curvature, with the spin of the Earth, which should take you longer, it actually is 45 minutes less.
Well, I thought that's because of the jet stream.
Exactly.
Oh.
See? But you would be going along with the curvature of the Earth. See? So how would you have to? You'd have to outfly the spin of the Earth. You follow?
Oh. I totally get it.
I still don't know how that proves that it's flat though. I'm
not saying anything about proving flat. I'm just saying that
what he's trying to say is that it should take longer. Okay, so the Earth spins. I think it's
if it's flat, there should be no difference
at
between
the equator.
distance.
Yeah,
at the equator, it spins more than 1,000 miles an hour.
With that being said, that means if you are airborne off of the ground and you are heading with the, so let's just say the Earth is
you would have to
spinning this way.
The spin of the Earth.
The Earth is spinning this way, right? So
yeah.
The Earth is spinning, and I'm in California, and over here's New York. California's and the entire world is supposed to be spinning, if it's the globe, 1,000 miles an hour roughly, which means, every hour it's moving 1,000 miles, which means California is now going to be over here. Does that make sense so far?
Okay.
Does it or not?
No, I see what you're saying. It doesn't spin that fast, though.
If you lifted off a plane, you took off at 1 p.m. and you're flying.
How fast is it spinning, though?
It's about anywhere between 700 to 1,000 miles an hour, depending
based on scientific evidence.
Yeah. Yes.
Which you're doubting about the
what we're doing is we're taking what their claim is and applying it to the real world and saying this doesn't make sense. So their claim doesn't make sense.
Once you lift it off the ground, you are now not bound to the ground. So with that being said, if you're in California, you're in California and it's moving 1,000 miles an hour, that means in order to catch up to, you're trying to get to New York, but now California's over here in an hour. You have to catch up to that.
Yeah. You have to outfly the spin of the Earth.
I don't think he understands. Do you understand what we're trying to say?
No, I do understand. I don't think that the Earth is flat.
You see, a lot of people but here's the thing. I really do believe the Earth, chances are, is probably round. But I hate people because you really have no argument. You just said I don't believe the Earth is flat after we just said that.
Because I haven't thought about it because I know this is even going to be the topic tonight.
We're just trying to let people open up their eyes.
Because we did the topics about 5 minutes before we started, so I have no evidence.
Right.
So,
one of your topics you want to do was crystal.
So you're pretty flat on trying to get the show set up beforehand. So I don't. Yeah, of course I don't have an argument right now. You guys have all these.
With you.
You guys have all these statistics. I mean, come on.
There's no statistics.
Give me a break. I feel like the trial lawyer who shows up and a suitcase was stolen. I mean, I have no idea what to say right now.
Here's the thing: Once again, okay.
You guys
I'm
are
not
talking
saying he's
about
arguing for
flights
you.
and shit. I have no idea.
You truly believe you as of right now believe that it's 100% round without a doubt. I mean, for the most part, I believe.
I don't care either
I
way, but
actually,
if it is, fine.
I do more side with the globe theory, but I still like to entertain myself, and I actually do kind of believe that it might be flat. And we have someone who absolutely believes it's flat.
Great.
It's a perfect. I'm not trying to argue with you. Yeah. I'm just trying to.
I'm not trying to argue with you either.
I'm trying to open up your options of. We're not trying to. Yeah. We're not manipulating you to like think.
No, I mean.
You think we're being malicious about it or being
no,
you know?
No, I just
we're not
don't.
Trying to attack you.
No, I'm just not that interested in the concept of there being a flat Earth. I don't know what difference it makes. I know you're saying that has something to do with. With personal responsibility.
Here's the big conspiracy
God
theory. The conspiracy theory not only states that it is actually round. Okay, so we scientists say it's round. So many people think it's flat. The real conspiracy is not only is it flat, but why isn't that fact? If they're hiding it, why? That would be the biggest conspiracy theory
and
ever.
No one has come up with a good answer for the why.
Don't you think that's fucking interesting?
No, because no one can literally come up with a reason for why they would get some sort of an edge over everybody by claiming that the Earth is round.
I actually agree with you.
No one can come up with anything.
I'm actually curious of that too. That's the only thing I haven't been able to figure out, and I've thought about that many fucking times. I'm serious. I'm not trying to. You think that we're all attacking you? You always think everyone's attacking you, Blue.
Attacking me? No, you're trying to be attacked.
Yeah,
by,
you with your Pink Floyd.
You and
your Pink
by
Floyd
claiming
shirt.
that I'm attacking you. You're trying to do this sort of like. In fact,
them.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna get going.
Oh,
I gotta go to bed. No, really, I do. I'm tired.
It's because you said you're gonna be done at the show at 11.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, can we on the show like formally, like a normal show, and not say I'm
no?
tired, I gotta go to bed?
You guys got a lot to talk about here. You guys can talk about when you flew to Nashville or something, and you felt some turbulence or some shit. I don't know. And then you guys can prove that the Earth is flat, and we can all go to bed and sleep soundly because it's flat.
Jesus. Okay. Sounds like you don't care about the show at all.
No, I mean, I do have to go as well. But I mean, the thing is I'm talking about it because it was a topic of the show. So
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I can't believe that you're.
No, you're insulted because I don't agree with you, and
I'm
that's
not insulted.
And that's sad and pathetic.
I'm not insulted. I'm insulted that you are being that dull.
I didn't have anything to come up with beforehand to even argue my point.
Because you're a globist.
No, you are a flatist.
Come on.
You want to look at the world two-dimensionally. You don't want to look at the nuances. You don't want to look at the three-dimensional aspects of life. You want to look at it like a big map that you can conquer. But the Earth is not like that at all. The Earth is round, people, and it's three-dimensional. And I don't know what to say.
Very round people. There's some giant, large people that are round.
Yes. Now, how fast it's spinning, that would be a good argument. I have no idea how fast it's spinning.
That has nothing to do even... All right.
Yeah, but no. I mean, that's
Leave.
That's what I don't understand is that people don't argue about the Earth, like, rotating. Like, why aren't we, spinning out into the atmosphere?
Because of
what the scientists say.
Gravity, yes.
The scientists are right on this one, but on the other one, they're not.
Exactly. That's why it's all fake. It's all flat. 100%.
Okay.
The lizard man is controlling everything. All right. That is Blue. And I mean, let us end the show before we leave. We're going to end the show literally in a couple seconds.
Why are you guys going to talk about it a little bit longer?
No.
Why?
Because we got to leave a cliffhanger.
All right, fine.
All right. This is Going Dutch Radio Network, people. We went live at 8 p.m. every single Saturday night. YouTube, Facebook, iTunes. Thank you, Danny, for calling in again. I know you just called in. I'm sorry we didn't get to you. Please call whenever we go back again live at next Saturday. Do you guys have any final thoughts? We talked about Flat Earth, child molestation, Donald Trump. We talked about a lot of weird stuff. Thank you, Moe.
Sure.
His first name's Moe, his last name's Zura. Please look up his channel on YouTube. It is Moe Zura. He's religious, the righteous, the conspiracial man? The conspiracy?
Not really. But,
Conspirist.
I'll talk about anything, but,
You are a good person. You don't hear that very often.
Not really. But
all right. So is there anything else that we want to talk about? Your
closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
Well, I don't think the Earth is flat, but I appreciate you guys trying, to prove it.
Not prove it, just open up your eyes.
No, I mean my eyes are
Not even
open.
that. Just talk about
Yeah,
it. That's
I
all
know,
it really was.
I know, and he's so like defensive. He's
No,
always real
it's okay.
defensive. I don't know what
It's
it
fine.
is.
What do you want me to do? Completely agree with
I mean,
you?
no.
I mean that's clearly the only.
No,
way
you
that
just wanna leave.
want me
Like,
to-
No,
I gotta
I
go
can
to
see
bed.
where he's coming from
Fucking
because
creep.
you and I have talked about it before. He
Yeah.
hasn't, and he has no ammo. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. Because he
I'm not
he
trying to
hasn't-
let him defend himself.
No, but I'm just saying. No, I mean,
I'm
I
not
can see
saying-
where he's coming from. Where
Yeah, see, he knows where I'm coming from.
he doesn't. He's not prepped.
He hasn't took the pill yet. He hasn't
No,
realized.
he just hasn't. He hasn't had
Yeah.
a chance to sit down and analyze the information.
He
and
hasn't
that kind
been
of thing. And we were just kind of throwing stuff at him, and
He hasn't been
exactly.
seasoned.
Yes.
yeah, he was sort of ambushed to a degree. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see where he came.
On-
I'm not yelling at you.
On
No,
on
no,
both
no.
sides
No,
on
I-
this round kind of round table. I don't even know if it's a round table. It's like
Well, no, it's not. It's
hexagon
flat.
or
It's
something.
flat, bud. You fuck.
Well, it depends on if you look at the dimension.
It's octagonal.
Mo, do you got anything before we leave?
I mean, what is
no,
flat?
that's it. Yeah.
All right, guys. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. Thank you guys for watching. We greatly appreciate it. We are leaving. We are signing out. His final thoughts are, yes, the world is absolutely round. Blue, wave. It's round. He thinks round. Mo, to the right with the red shirt that says, God is kind to the ungrateful and wicked.
Yeah,
Luke
is.
6:35.
He's talking about you, CJ.
What, I'm God?
No,
No,
that's a
you're
quote from
ungrateful and
Jesus.
wicked.
Oh, fucking A.
And
All
I
right.
feel, and you know
I'm-
what, Danny? Thanks for listening. I wish you would have answered
Yeah.
your call, but I don't know because
You wanted the show to end. What are you talking
No,
about?
I was gonna leave. You guys just kept going. I was gonna watch you guys at the
We can't-
apartment.
Two-man show.
That's
Come on.
Well,
I
you
mean,
guys- you guys
I
are-
feel like we might have a lot better content with just me and him versus you being here. I'm just
Go
kidding.
ahead.
I'm just kidding.
No,
No, it's all
no.
right.
Oh, you're defensive. Hey, Blue, you're getting defensive again.
No.
Blue?
Honestly,
Blue.
I
Blue.
would love to go to the apartment and see you guys talk about flat Earth on the phone. I really would. I think it'd be great.
Hmm.
You should have
Too bad
Danny.
you can't sleep. There's too many cats. All right,
Okay,
guys. This is
whatever.
Going Dutch
It's
Radio
getting personal
Network.
now.
We got to sign out.
We are signing out. We will be back next Saturday at 8 p.m. This is Going Dutch Radio Network, people. Please comment. And we are out. We're out. Good night, guys. And remember, make America great again. America. And no, I'm not for Trump.